I work long shifts, and sometimes it throws off my sleeping cycle, and that messes with my diet.
You're asking the wrong people. We don't have jobs.
How do I develop athleticism if I don't have any specific sport?
You might want to try to get into some stuff that just creates more movement.
Any recommendations for a 240-pound runner when it comes to running shoes?
Number one is to weigh less.
If I draw the short straw and have to get a vasectomy, will that in any way lower my ability to produce testosterone or hinder muscle building? Well,
Great question. That was the first question I asked when I went and got mine.
I heard celery and selenium can help you
Bigger loads,
with
right?
a bigger load.
Yeah.
I'm about to buy a ton of celery.
Here in California, you know, my dad doing income taxes for as long as he's been doing them, he said if you have a family that you got to make around 200K. I was like, fuck, dude, that's steep. But he's like, well, you asked me. He's like, that's about what you got to make.
Yeah, that's what somebody said, 200K.
Yeah.
They might be living in California, or maybe they just want to make 200K.
And that's to be like comfortable. That's to be, you know, to have most of your expenses paid for and then have the things that you'd like and then some. But I think the cool thing about the American way is a lot of people have everything they need and live beyond their means anyway, regardless of whether you're in the 50K bracket or 250K bracket.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys seen, it was Chris Williamson, and he collaborated with somebody else on an Instagram post, basically explaining, like, you don't need millions to do what millionaires do, with the exception of, like, of course, like extravagant things, but like to spend time with your family. Like, I could do that right now, and I'm not a millionaire. You know, I can do whatever. I can go on small trips, and I'm not a millionaire, and still spend time with the people I love. I can still find happiness here, but we're still always constantly chasing that, like, well, no, I will. It was something along the lines of, like, I will do the stuff that makes me happy once I'm done working my face off and making money. Then I'll do it, as opposed to I'll do it right now because I can.
Right.
It's a weird thing. It just hit me pretty hard, but I'm like, nah, I'm still gonna work.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that are, like, I guess, more within your range than you might think, especially if they're things that you really care about, that you really... This depends on what depends on what you value, how much you value comfort, how much you value, like, I personally like to go to nice hotels, you know, I personally like to fly first class.
You earned that shit.
Yeah, I like those things. It feels like maybe in some way, I guess I earned it, but yeah, it feels more comfortable. So I'm like, I may as well just pay for it. And I feel like I have the finances to do it, so I'll just do it.
Yeah, if you have the finances for it, and it's not like you have to think twice about flying first class. Okay, fly first class. But if, like, you're like, ooh, that first class ticket, don't do it.
Yeah, it gives you more stress than you need.
Don't do it. Power Project family, if you guys want to get in on our next live Q&A, join the Discord down below, because this is pre-recorded and we answered a bunch of your fitness and nutrition questions. We also gave away some goodies from our sponsors. So if you want to get on the next one, join the Discord below and enjoy the show. I saw this post by Dave Ramsey yesterday. Top 10 car brands driven by millionaires. 1, Toyota. Shit, winner. 2, Honda. 3, Ford. 4, Lexus. 5, Subaru. 5, BMW. 7, Acura. 6, 8, Hyundai. 9, Lincoln. 10, Buick.
Standard cars.
Right? Pretty standard cars. And the Lexus is like the low-end luxury car made by Toyota. They're still great cars, though. You know what I mean? So, hey.
Yeah, they're like Camrys with just better interiors, basically.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're going to start taking some of your questions. If you can, if you're here, there's 69 people. Click that like button real quick, because there's
69.
I wasn't even trying anything with that, but
limited.
Yeah,
it's going to stay at 69.
Can we cut it off? I just want to stay at 69.
Y'all are fucking dumb.
What are you talking? Oh, it's at 70.
Click that like button, because it'll help this live to get to more people. We're going to give away some cool stuff, like a year of hostage tape to one winner, some Viore stuff, some Vivo stuff, some Within You supplements, all that type of stuff. But we're going to be taking your questions too.
Why is your chest out? Is that just for the views?
That's a
what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why is my chest out? My chest isn't out.
Stop flexing your ass. Just kidding.
One well-built individual, but goddamn.
Oh yeah, but this hoodie, feel it.
Good cup of feel.
Soft, right?
It's soft, but hard on the inside.
Yeah. That's that DreamKnit fabric. DreamKnit. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Shit. I saw one question, but I missed it.
I got a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Oh God! Whenever you have a question, it always hits different.
Why is it that black? No.
Let's start off. Let's start with that. What is it?
No. A lot of people have been.
Why do the blacks just?
Good thing we're live, guys.
That's right. And we got no followers. And everything shut down.
Oh my God.
Whoopsie daisy. No, there's a lot of talk about Mike Mentzer online, and we were discussing it a little bit. And I was wondering, have you utilized protocols like that before for size or strength? Just doing 1 or 2 sets?
Nah, I'm personally I haven't, just because I never felt like I could really get much out of just 2 sets. You know what I mean? And let me clarify. Mike Mentzer stuff, is that like how many total sets per workout? Is it like just 2 sets on that body part for the workout?
It's usually like 1 or 2 sets per that exercise.
Per that exercise.
So it might be 2 different exercises, but just one or 2 sets. Usually 1 hard set.
Yeah. So
If he's doing biceps, he might do like a barbell curl, and then he might do preacher curl.
Yeah,
and that would be it.
The only time that I do 2 sets of an exercise in a workout is if I have a lot of other movements that I'm going to be doing. So I'll do 2 good sets of that movement because there's other good stuff I'm going to be getting to. But in Mentzer's stuff, it's like you have limited movements and you're just going really hard on these sets. Personally, I haven't utilized it, and I don't think that that's my ideal way of training. So
how did you train? Like, what did you do? Did you do like 3 or 4 sets, or?
If I did any type of body part, let's say I was doing a push day, there'd probably be 8 to 10 different movements and probably 3 to 4 sets per movement, right? I trained with high volume, and I still trained with decently high volume, but volume's always just been good for me. I don't do well. I don't like training with super high intensity and relatively low volume. It's not my thing.
10 reps a pop or so?
Anywhere between 8, 12, 15 reps. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a normal way of training.
But yeah, that's always worked. So, okay. Let's see. I know y'all answered this question before, and this is from CRZ Rand, but what is the platform you use for your feet? Oh, and the equipment for finger strengthening.
Oh, yeah. What are these things?
Dude, do you remember what this platform's called, Andrew?
Which one?
Something wild?
Wild, yeah.
Oh, it's from Wild Gym. Let me see if I can find it online.
Yeah, we'll pull it up. Wild Gym. As far as the finger things, these are Pro Hands. Got these from Amazon. These grippers are from Gripzilla, but you can get the ones from Iron Mind too.
Yep. Gripzilla also makes that little thingy. That thing's pretty cool, and you can kind of stir it and do all kinds of crazy stuff.
I haven't touched that thing in forever.
Yeah, I have mine on my desk here, and I was just using it the other day, but it will get your forearms smoked quickly.
So, and then, that's the Wild Gym. That's the thing that we're using on the feet. It's under my feet right now. We're able to smash our feet passively while doing whatever, while standing. So
you can also kind of like stretch your ankles and calves on it too.
Yeah.
Get your feet in certain positions and stuff. It feels really good.
It's weird. I can only find the like the inserts, but yeah, it's from wildgym.com.
Hey, we got a super chat for $5. We just made a whole $5, guys.
Hell yeah. First class for all of us. Wah, 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 wah.
So yeah, CRZ ran. That's that stuff. 2 guns.
2 guns. Not 1, but 2 guns.
2 guns. 2 gats. I work long shifts, and sometimes it throws off my sleeping cycle, and that messes with my diet. Any advice to circumvent that?
You're asking the wrong people. We don't have jobs.
Why you got to do that, Doc?
None of us work, so we don't know how to help you.
In the conventional sense.
Yeah.
Hard
long
labor.
shifts.
That's so long shifts as in like night shifts or just long shifts?
I wonder if we can get some clarification from him.
Because night shifts is really hard, but if it's long shifts, we can help.
I guess I would say, do your best to try to get some sunlight when you can. If you can pop out for a little bit of a walk, if you can take a call while you're on a walk, that might be helpful. Something, somewhere you can get outside, but you also might be on the East Coast where it's starting to get really freaking cold. So that might not be super convenient. I would say that, the same thing is true with like jet lag or any of these things. if you can still figure out a way to get 7 or 8 hours of sleep, then that's going to be like one of the most valuable things you can do. So regardless of when you work or how much you work or any of those things, if you can figure out a way to get some good sleep, that'll be really helpful.
Yeah. And then also it would be a good idea to try to you're in a situation where it's going to be a good idea to make a plan for your food. So some people have a consistent schedule where they're like, okay, I know I'm going to get home at this time. I know this is what I'm usually going to be doing. But with things kind of being not totally random, but a bit more inconsistent with you, it takes a little bit less thought if you can make a plan for the food that you're going to eat. So whether you can have certain things ready, if you have certain things thought out, get certain things at home that make it easier to cook, like an air fryer, just things that just make the cooking process less stressful.
The air fryer is amazing.
Oh, God.
You throw something in the air fryer, you don't have to even watch it or look at it, and 10 minutes later, it's good to go.
The Ninja Foodie Grill, right? I was talking to Andrew the other day because I was like, dude, what was that big slab of meat from Piedmontese? What was it called?
Strip loin roast or some shit like that.
First off, that thing was fucking amazing. But I was like, Andrew, how am I going to cook this? Because do you air fry your strip loins? I totally didn't realize that it had a grill function. The Ninja Foodie Grill has a grill function,
so then
which cooks it slower.
What function do you normally use?
Air crisp.
Just like air fryer.
Bro. Oh my God.
Well, you guys have the thermometer?
Yes. That's the one he has. And he's not using the fucking.
Well, if you just use the thermometer, you just get like, what, 135 or something? Or 125?
Yeah. It does a really good job of that. But yeah, dude, you have an indoor grill. Like,
hey.
I'm just saying, so like,
yes.
So now with that though, like when you actually set the thing to preheat, when you throw the steak on there, it gets like all the sizzly and stuff. So you're gonna get even more of an outside like kind of crust,
a little char. Yeah,
I was like, char. There you go.
Ooh, I'm a grill master,
dude.
Yeah, with my fucking Ninja Foodie.
As easy as it is, yeah, you can put that next to like somebody that actually did grill like outside, and you be like, no, they're both delicious. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. So. Yeah, get yourself an air fryer. Get yourself a Ninja Creamy. Maybe you can go home and have yourself a nice protein ice cream, and it really does taste like ice cream. You could do all of that.
Maybe like 2 meals a day too. That sort of thing. If it's like I don't know if you're trying to maybe get weight in check or something, but like that's what I do. My shifts are nowhere near as long as yours, but I do end up working pretty late some days. And so what I do is I have a big meal for breakfast and then a big meal for dinner, and that's kind of it. And so it takes all the guesswork out of the day. I don't have to worry about meal prepping, and it's been very successful for me over the past year at this point now. So yeah, it's something else to think about.
There we go. 2 guns. Thank you for the $5.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
And hey, we're not asking for money, but anyone who does give super chats will be able to get to your questions first. You don't need to, though. We'll still try to get to all your questions here. But hey,
that's just
get a whole $5.
I sent you a text, Andrew. See if you can bring that up on the screen. I don't know if you got that kind of technology over there. I do. How's that Chris Williamson drink you're drinking over there?
It's good.
They taste good, don't they?
They taste good. Yeah.
Chris Williamson.
This is wild citrus.
Chris Williamson and James Smith, they collaborated.
New tonic.
So my wife sent me this screen capture today. And she goes, "What happened to you? Why are you so small?" It's a picture technology of Nsima looking huge, jacked, and handsome as always. And it's me looking like a little speck behind the desk.
And it doesn't help that you're like leaning forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
I was like, I thought you don't watch the podcast. I think she just found a clip on Instagram.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
That's funny. Okay. So, Primal Mike, this guy is great. I've missed so many of his questions. So, Primal Mike. I'm sorry for fucking your shit up, dude. But thanks for your question. I'm considering a new pair of shoes for running. The Barefoot running shoes. Any tips on transitioning to avoid injury and early overuse? Mark, you've used a bunch of fucking shoes.
Yeah. Bunch of shoes. They just got to be careful with how much time. I mean, think about if you've never done it before and you're going to go out and run for like an hour in a new pair of shoes, like probably not a good idea. So I would say walk in your shoes first. And then secondly, get a run in with your shoes. But, try to have it be 20 minutes, 30 minutes. See how you feel. Take your time with it.
Yeah. Yeah. What are the wide toe box Adidas ones? Because, okay, so you had the Nike, What are those big Nike shoes, the super shoes?
Yeah, I have Nike Alpha Fly.
But you liked the Adidas ones that you got more, right? What are those ones?
I forget what they're called. You can probably look them up online.
They're another super shoe.
Yeah, they're a little wider. Adios or something like that. I think they're called. I don't know.
Yeah,
I might be saying that wrong.
Audi Zero.
There you go.
Okay,
that might be it. And there's a lot of different options, but I think, depending on the stack height, underneath your foot, that's kind of a critical thing. So if you are in like a very barefoot minimalist shoe and you don't have much padding underneath your foot, that's going to kind of determine how long you can like run with something. Yeah, that's like the reason why you got to keep in mind the reason why they make these things. They make these things for people that are running like half marathons and marathons, and that's the upper limit. The upper limit is of how much stuff they can put underneath your foot. You might not need that. Like I don't wear shoes like that hardly anymore. I mainly wear my Ultras when I'm running.
And Ultras are pretty wide. They're much wider than these shoes.
Oh, yeah, they're wide and they don't have a lot of padding underneath them. I have Ultra Escalante is what I use.
You told me about that. I got those. The Escalantes are great. Those are the main shoes that I run in if I'm doing any type of like distance stuff, but they're super comfortable. Yeah. And they don't have like all the super shoe shit. Like they're not super foamy.
And it also, I don't think it takes like time to get used to them. Because it's not really like a barefoot shoe.
No.
You have enough padding to where you're okay.
Yeah, I think once you wear those, you will just prefer those because they just feel better. Like there's no break-in period. They just feel comfortable. I got a pretty good deal on they're called Rivieras. So they're this Ultra Riviera. They're just a little bit more narrow, but they're so comfortable. I can do like anything in those shoes.
Culturally, you should have no problem saying Riviera.
Well, I just wasn't sure if that's what they were called, and then I got tongue twisted because I'm like, it's either Riveras or Riviera. They might be Riveras actually, so even worse. Yeah, we got a coach in the NFL. I can't say his name.
Yeah, we got a lot of different shoes that we like. Obviously, we like the Vivo shoes. They make all different kinds of shoes.
They have a lot.
I was wearing some of their shoes when I was in Tahoe. It was really nice on some of the trails and stuff. I forget, what are the ones with the grippier stuff underneath? You were telling me the name of them.
Was it the
more casual ones?
But was it one of their hiking shoes? Or was it?
It wasn't even, I don't think it was necessarily a hiking shoe, but they
had the Michelin tread on the bottom?
I think so. What you have underneath your foot is just so much... I don't know, it's more padding than what you normally get from their shoes.
Okay, let me find
I like
it.
that one a lot, but that was sick. I think they make like the pink...
The Novus.
Ones.
It's the Novus.
That's what it is.
Dude, yeah.
Those are insane. Those are
pull those
so
babies
good.
up real quick.
They look amazing too.
I like them as casual shoes, but they're one of those shoes that you can, if you chose to, you could wear those like to kind of run in because they have a good bottom to them.
Yeah. I was wearing them when I was in Tahoe. I was on some trails and it's kind of snowy and wet and stuff, and those worked amazing.
Yeah.
I don't believe they're like waterproof or anything like that, but it worked well for what I was using them for.
Nice. Okay, yeah, those are the Novus.
Yeah, these guys right here.
Yeah. Those are actually meant to be a casual shoe, guys, but you can wear them to do other stuff. They are flat, they are wide, and they are comfy. So
they got a lot of different shoes now.
They have so many.
And I wore their hiking shoes too. I threw those on for one of the hikes I went on. It felt good.
Their hiking shoes are actually good
like
for
hiking
trail runs.
Kind of like a boot, but it wasn't like a full. I don't know. They got so many different shoes now. It's great. They have a lot of options.
I think it was probably their Magnas. If you pull up their Magnas, Andrew, if you scroll down, you'll see those.
Yeah, it wasn't like the latest
these are
boots
Magnas
that you got, but it was the top was like. I don't know, what's the word? Like form fitting. The top of the boot was like form fitting. It like felt like a cast.
The Tracker Decon?
It was like something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know I have the Tracker Decon, so you guys have the Tracker Decons. Yeah.
I think it was those guys.
Just if you ever want barefoot shit, browse through their stuff because they have a lot of options. Those ones are super comfy. I have those ones. I've run in those ones before. Those ones are comfortable as fuck. But like if it's raining or if you're on a trail, you'll like those. We got another super cat.
What?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to come back to the top, but I'm going to hit this super chat first from Noah.
Yo.
Wow, Noah, thank you for the whole $10. $10. That could get me a fifth of a tank of gas right there.
Hell yeah.
I'll take it.
All right. I get weird pain in my thumb when when using my finger extensors, and just in random daily activities, may have gotten it from BJJ. Yeah. Any myofascial release techniques you do to the hand. Okay. There aren't any myofascial stuff, but I know the kind of pain he's talking about. It's probably right here. So when you're doing finger extensions, I'm assuming, Noah, it's like right there that you're getting pain. I'd suggest you want to stimulate that area, but you don't want to overdo it. So finger extensors will still be something good to do, but don't go too crazy with it, because every time you do finger extensors, you're going to be aggravating that. But I would say do that if you can. These pro hand things are a good solid thing to do. I would say also, if you can, maybe doing some finger push-ups might be beneficial. So doing push-ups, but try to be on your hands here. That can help bring some stress to that area. If it's too stressful, then don't do that too soon. One thing that I've been liking recently is this. I've been using it for the past few days. It's a shot put ball, right? You can get this off of Amazon. And what I've been doing is I like literally just having this at home, and I carry it around with me. I'll use it here sometimes, but I'll just use it and I'll go down and up, kind of let the ball hang, come up, hold it in front, do circles with it. I'll feel the areas that are firing up in my wrists that I have some pain with. I'll feel those areas, and I'm able to kind of do a lot of different type of forearm work with this. I like it also because you're able to grab around the ball versus when you're using a dumbbell, you're grabbing like this. So it feels like a bit of a different stimulus on the wrist and on the forearm. It's just a simple shot put ball that I got on Amazon. You can get this in like a 6-pound. This one's an 8-pound, but that could be also beneficial. Do you have any ideas?
I do think you probably can get into some of the muscles around the thumb. You just would need almost like a rubber, like a little rubber, like bouncy ball, like one of those things you get out of like a machine, or you spend like a quarter on or something. But anything you can get pressure on, that kind of fat padded part of your inside of your hand, and then also on the outside where the tendon is, you might want to try to push around that tendon. You can even just use your other thumb to kind of dig in on there. So some of that might help.
Yeah. And just pay attention to it day by day and just make sure that it's getting better each day, because things like that take a little bit of time to improve. It's not like it's certain injuries, you'll have them and like in 5 days it'll go away. But when things happen to like the hands or the wrists, those end up taking a bit more time, and you want to just pay attention and just like do the things you would normally be doing, like the finger extensor stuff and the things that I talked about, but just make sure that each day it hurts a little bit less than it did the day before or 2 days before. That's how you know you're heading in the right direction.
Would any like I guess I'll say static stretching be beneficial? Like I'm just asking because like sometimes, well, pretty much all the time, my fingers are like tender from jiu-jitsu also. I'll just put them together like kind of like a prayer position, but try to push them out as far as I can.
Oh, hell yeah.
And like I can, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I didn't realize how deep it like really like the pain like started. And then eventually like I get more mobility in my fingers, but I didn't know if that's like a me thing or if like anybody can just start like kind of like, so if he's grabbing his thumb and kind of like stretching it out and stuff and then using something like that shot put ball.
No, 100%. That'd be beneficial. Along with that also, it's like if you can like get on top of your wrist and you can kind of like stretch that area too. I know it doesn't hit the finger extensions as much, but you can come on top of your hand here, have some pressure on top of it, kind of roam around on that top, and then go on the bottom side too. So here and here. Those are going to be some beneficial things. And again, you don't need to be in a gym to do that, but it can help bring some relief to that whole area. Because especially when doing BJJ with a lot of grabbing, the wrists, the forearms, the fingers, all those, you need to just have good control and good strength in those areas in general. So, yeah.
So, thanks for the super chat.
Yes, thank you for the super chat, dude. Okay.
Super chat.
Let's see. There's a bunch. I need to go back to the top. Back to the top. Also, guys, if you're here, there's 78 people here. Hey, 30 likes. So if you're here, click the like button because that'll help this get to more people. And like I mentioned, anybody who ends up asking questions, you're going to be entered into the giveaway at the end. So, yeah.
Hey, do you mind bringing up our buddy, Corey Schlesinger?
Oh, yeah. Pull that guy up.
Trying to share out some IGs that I think you guys can get some cool benefit from. And Corey's someone we've had on the show before, so we've called attention to him before, but he's just been posting some stuff with his basketball team that he's working with. He is a strength coach for Texas, and he works mainly with the basketball team at the moment. And he's just posting some really cool stuff on explosive strength and agility and mobility and stuff like that. So check out some of the stuff he's got going on.
Yeah, anything in particular?
Yeah, you just click the last couple maybe and just kind of browse through them a little bit.
Just hang out here.
These are high-level athletes, but they're doing a lot of the stuff they're doing is pretty simple. You can kind of substitute like whatever you have access to. You might not have access to everything they have at the University of Texas, but some of the stuff they're doing is pretty simple. Right there, they have like a water weight type thing, and they're doing like a glute ham raise type movement, single leg, which that seems like it would be hard as hell to try to figure out.
Yeah, he does also some of the stuff that Power Plus was showing us.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the OG that they both learned that stuff from? I forgot.
Oh yeah, the Schrader. Right? Is that the guy's name?
I don't know, but that cable machine's dope because the cables go all the way across the whole fucking gym.
Oh yeah, remember that?
Those are sick.
Yeah.
And what's cool is that they actually go the opposite. So right now they're going against the resistance. They'll actually like run towards the machine to help them learn how to brake. I thought that was fucking cool.
Yeah, that machine was awesome. I think it was from Power Systems.
Corey implements a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, these are just movements that, I don't know, maybe you just haven't thought of before. But what I thought was cool and motivating about it is that these are the best of the best. I mean, these athletes are extraordinary. These are scholarship athletes, and they can do all kinds of really cool shit. But a lot of the stuff they're doing is super simple, except for that dunk that guy just did.
You know, this is actually, there's a question that kind of falls in line with this. It's from Dylan Burnett. He said, how do I develop athleticism if I don't have any specific sport that I've fallen in love with yet? That's a really good question, because if you haven't, like, if you're not playing basketball or soccer or even pickleball, then it's like you're wondering, why am I doing some of this stuff?
Right. Yeah, you might want to try to get into a little bit of rope flow. You might want to try to get into some stuff that just creates more movement than what you might have from a typical weightlifting workout. But I would say there's definitely no reason why you can't work on jumping and throwing. You know, I kind of find it interesting how as we get older, you know, when you're a kid, I mean, maybe you play soccer, so you have a soccer ball with you all the time when you're a kid. But I think even as an adult, we should have a soccer ball with us. Even as an adult, we should have a football with us. There's no reason why we can't still throw around a football. There's no reason why you still can't kick around a soccer ball just because you're older. It's kind of fun. And even if you're not doing it, you know, in some crazy athletic way, and you're not, you know, doing it really hard like you would if you were in competition, or maybe you're just chucking it around to have some fun. That's a great way to implement some athleticism. So if you have an opportunity to play some basketball with some friends, or you have an opportunity to shoot some hoops with some friends, or throw a football around, or kick a soccer ball around, I think those are all great ways to implement some athleticism into your workouts.
Yeah, and try to find one of those adult leagues if you can, because those things are always fun. You know, there's a lot of beginners out there. Some people don't like to go out and do certain sports because they've never really played it before, but people love pickleball these days. And then it's a pretty fast-paced sport, if you're going to call it that, yeah, right? So it's not a bad idea. Always, I have a love for jiu-jitsu, so if you ever want to go grapple, I mean, shit, there's a lot of movement involved in there. But like you mentioned rope flow, Mark, one thing you notice about really good athletes is that they're not just like explosive or super fast. Good athletes are able to move pretty well. They have good ability to move their spines. They have good proprioception of their limbs and like what their limbs are doing in space. So the rope, working with that's going to help you kind of learn how to move your body and move your spine in a fluid fashion.
Yeah, and maybe try to follow some programming from some people that implement stuff that's not just lifting. Like if you check out Josh Bryant, you check out like Jailhouse Strong, you check out some of Gas Station Ready, you check out some of the stuff from him. He has people doing like explosive movements that are athletic, even though Josh himself is pretty fucking big and jacked, and a lot of the people that he trains are big and jacked. They're still pretty athletic. They still jump pretty well, even like Tom Haviland.
The jumps
and shit that guy does, I mean, it's unbelievable. So I think it's great to try to maintain some sort of level athleticism.
Man's a fucking Undertaker, dog. He really does scare me.
He's huge.
The disturbing thing is you never see his face.
I know.
So it's like he seems like he'd be out of like one of those fucking slasher movies.
Yeah, yeah. It's like from a movie.
Yeah, it's insane. We got another super chat. Another super chat for $4.99.
Don't forget Alex Hicks. He just gave us a one as well, just as a shout out. Just to
did I not?
Just to say thanks.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, thank you, Alex. I didn't see that. Cool. All right. So Alex, thank you, and Jesse Fonseca the fourth. All right, $4.99. Nordic curls, the ultimate movement ability, and any news on your program and what it looks like at Nsima. I don't think Nordic curls are like the ultimate movement ability. I think they're definitely beneficial to be able to do because I'm just like, my knees have been a problem area since I was young. I had Auschwitz-Slaughter, I had knee surgery, and developing that has kind of just allowed like my hamstrings and the back of my knees, that area just feels so fucking strong. And when I do things like when I'm in jiu-jitsu and I have all these single leg type of things that I need to do, that area is just resilient as fuck. And the Nordic curls have helped with that. So you can build up to that by doing lying hamstring curls, single leg lying hamstring curls. And then if you can get yourself to a Nordic machine, do regress Nordics where you're not going all the way down, but you're going like halfway, then all the way. You can progress to it. Ultimate, though, I wouldn't say. It's just they are difficult to progress. That program is going to be coming out, I believe, next week.
Wow.
Next week it comes out. We're cleaning things up on the ATG app just to make sure everything's good. But the program's going to be out next week, and there's going to be a Discord server for it, so y'all are going to be able to join in. A lot of things that we've talked about on the podcast are concepts that are in the program, like microdosing, which is really important because it's a 2 or 3 day a week program, and not everyone you can't do all the things I think you should be able to do just in the gym, but you can do it on a daily basis if you just have some tools with you. So, yeah.
Yeah, don't forget about just the glute ham raise, too. It's amazing. Glute ham raise is a great movement. There's so many different ways of doing it. You can do it isometrically. You can do them fast. You can do them slow. And then also there's the machine by Louis Simmons. It doesn't get talked about enough, but it's basically a Nordic curl.
What is it?
I don't even know what the hell it's called, but it's like some sort of glute ham raise type thing, but it has a support system for you doing a Nordic. It has a counterweight of a Nordic curl, basically. Louis invented this thing probably 15 years ago, but it's designed, it has a weight on it. It's designed to help kind of push you into a Nordic curl. I don't know if you can find it on like maybe West Side Barbell site or something.
I know Vigorous Steve was just using it when he was.
A lot of people go to use it and they're not sure what it is, and they just like fall. And people are confused by it. They're like, I think they think the thing should push them up more, but you have to put a lot of weight on there if you're not used to it. Yeah, here it is. So people think that thing that you're holding in your arms is resistance, but it's assistance. That's assisting you, so it's making your body weight way less. And then I think you can adjust stuff too to where the strength curve is a little bit. It looks like Vigorous Steve might have been at Elite FTS. It looks like, so he has having a party on all these different machines. But yeah, that's a Nordic curl machine, which is fucking brilliant.
That is
because most people can't really do them, and it can be an exercise that can be very unsafe for a lot of people if you just don't have experience doing it. And you can also just you don't have to use that way. You can actually just move that thing out of the way if you want to do it without any weight support helping you. Yeah. And you can also, I think you can put that on your back and have weight against you.
Ooh.
Jeez.
If you're a real mutant.
That's sick. Louis had a game. I've never seen that. There's so many cool pieces of like equipment though that are just like, there's so much equipment out there.
Wow, yeah.
And like cool pieces, but most of the time, most people don't get those pieces of equipment. It's sick.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies making a lot of different shit nowadays. The stuff from like Watson is freaking wild. It's amazing.
Power Project Family, we talk about beef and meat all the time on the podcast. That's why we've partnered with Certified Piedmontese Beef. But did you know this? That 85% of all grass-fed, grass-finished beef in the United States is imported from other countries? 85%.
Damn.
But Certified Piedmontese is made in the U.S. of A.
America.
America. Fuck yeah. So go ahead and get some of the best tasting, some of the leanest, some of the best beef from Piedmontese. Andrew, how can they get it?
Absolutely. So you guys can head over to cpbeef.com and at checkout enter promo code POWER to save 25% off your entire order. And if your order is $150 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Again, cpbeef.com. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Fuck yeah. Hey, yo, quick question, though. This from Andrew Kidwell. Any recommendations for a 240-pound runner when it comes to running shoes? Most pairs I've tried last about 100 to 150 miles before I run through them. Thank you. And you're a hefty guy, so what do you think?
Damn. Number one is to weigh less.
Oh.
It's a tough thing, but
Why are you just telling this guy to be less fat? What the fuck,
yeah,
dog?
you gotta weigh less. It's a lot.
You're not fat, Andrew.
A lot of weight to lug around. Oh, there you go.
So it's called the West Side Inverse Curl.
There you go.
That's a cool name.
Yeah.
They're not giving them away, but that's cool.
An inverse curl machine.
Sorry, continue.
I haven't really had problems with my shoes, I guess, like wearing out. Maybe I haven't like run. Maybe because I cycle through like a lot of different shoes. I know I have a bunch of other friends that are like, they're pretty into running and they utilize a lot of different shoes as well. But again, I think the Ultras are amazing. I've had those for a long time. I run in them often and I don't feel like they're like wearing out. I guess I could understand how you might feel like some of the shoes that have like the spring in them, that might, over time, like not be as impactful and not spring as well for you. But, with the other types of shoes I have that don't have like extra cushion and all that stuff, they seem to last a long time.
Okay. We got another super chat from Single Barrel.
Oh, let's go. I like this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, you guys, what should I order from Piedmontese for Carnivore Month coming up? I know it's a bit leaner, so curious which cuts you would recommend. Gracias. All right, let's pull up the website.
Yeah, the cool thing about Piedmontese is they have like affiliates. They got like other farms and other places that they work with where you can get all kinds of different meat. So
it's Good Life Proteins.
Yeah, Good Life Proteins. It has chicken, it got lamb, you got a lot of different options. And if you're going for like World Carnivore Month, first of all, I'd say like ground beef would be a great option because you're going to have, you can just get whatever fat meat that you want, whether you want it to be 96% or whether you want the fattier cuts. You can get hamburger meat, which like they have some hamburger meat that's just amazing. I think it's like 80-20. I'd recommend getting some bone marrow. Bone marrow is just amazing. I'd also recommend getting some fattier cuts to like use in a crock pot. And I think you'll dig that a lot. And again, lamb is amazing in a crock pot. They have access to chicken. They have access to, I think, bison. There's access to all kinds of other things on the Piedmontese website.
Yeah. And there's obviously we have a code for Piedmontese, so you guys can check that out. But if you guys don't know about how to get to Good Life Proteins, Andrew, can you show them that? Because
is it just right here?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure this shit out too.
you can go.
I think it's just Good Life Proteins, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all part.
It's goodlifeproteins.com.
Okay. Yeah. And then Piedmontese, my favorite cuts are, I really like the filet a lot. I like the bavettes. Whenever I can, I try to get grass-fed, grass-finished, wherever like appropriate. But I just try to do whatever I guess fits within your budget. I get some New York strips here and there. Andrew doesn't agree with that.
No.
But and I get tri-tip. Tri-tip, you get a little bit
more
more bang.
Are really good.
Yeah, you get a little more bang for your buck with tri-tip.
Yeah, I fucking put that in the Ninja Foodie.
Oh, they got halibut.
And also they have ribeye, and they have a ribeye cap. I don't know if you guys have had the ribeye cap.
I've had the ribeye cap.
Ribeye cap is some fancy shit.
It's really fucking good.
But whenever I order, I just always get a bunch of ribeyes. The ribeyes are really good. Because, like we mentioned, the good thing about Piedmontese versus other brands is like the amount of fat per cut. You have a little bit less fat for different cuts of meat, but it's still tender. It still tastes amazing. But you can still get cuts that do have a good amount of fat, like the ribeyes, or they have freaking Wagyu strips. Fuck. They have pork belly on Good Life Proteins. They have sausage. every like a bunch of mornings I'm usually fucking with their chorizo sausage.
Yeah, the sausages are great.
And eggs. Yeah. That glizzy is amazing. So yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
yes.
I mean, this maybe not the best for carnivore, but the skirt steak is incredible, and the macros on it are freaking insane.
But why is it not?
It's because he had said something about like more fat and stuff.
Okay.
Or I mean, would be recommended more fat. It's still very lean, super high protein, but it doesn't make sense. It's so good. Like my son goes freaking bonkers when he sees that we have meat out ready to be cooked, but then when he has Piedmontese, he just like you can't like we'll feed him, and then he's like with food still in his mouth, he's like asking for more food. It's hilarious. But that skirt steak it's man, dude, it's so good.
Chat, can you chime in and let us know what meat you like to put in your mouth? Because actually, really curious, like which cuts you guys like the most. This is going to give me some data of maybe what I should try, and maybe you'll be able to help this homie have some suggestions for what he should try for World Carnivore Month, since we know that you eat a lot of meat. A lot of you guys are meat eaters.
Another great option for Carnivore Month is Carnivore Crisps. So check out their website and check out what they have. The brisket is probably the best thing they have. They also have Eye of Round is really good. They have lamb. They have pork. The pork is really good. Chicken breast is pretty good.
Chicken breast is really good.
Chicken skin is really good. It just kind of depends on what you're into. Some of it's a little gnarly if you're not used to it. Like the brisket has like chunks of fat on it.
I love that.
Yeah, and people are like, but I dig it too. I'm like, oh, that's really good. I'll pull out a piece and the whole thing will be like almost white. I'm like, this is
great.
awesome. Like, right in my face.
It like melts too.
Take it.
It's so good.
It's delicious.
Take it.
Mouth is watering.
Damn. Okay. So there are more super chats. I gotta take a quick picture of some of these questions so I can come back to them, because you guys are asking some good ones. But then the super chats kind of start taking over. So we got to answer those, and then we're gonna come back to more questions. But the first one's coming from 5 a.m. I train every day and have noticed my strength going up, but pump go away. Any tips? My current split rotation is push, pull, arms, then legs. God dang,
love that split.
Too many super chats coming in. Okay.
No, there's not too many.
So this is actually good. So like one of the things is if you're noticing your strength going up drastically and you're having less pumps, that could mean that like on a lot of movements, maybe your strength's going up fast because you're working with higher intensities. And if you're not getting as many reps in, right, you're not going to have as much of a pump. It's not necessarily a bad thing, because you can always hit another workout with more reps and get a better pump. And just because you didn't get a crazy pump during the workout doesn't mean it wasn't a good workout, because again, your strength is going up. But all that means is start increasing the reps again, drive blood towards those muscle groups, or do certain movements that will drive more blood towards those muscle groups with higher reps, and you're going to feel that pump. That, 2, electrolytes, because you might be a little bit dehydrated. That's one thing that causes people not to get the pumps that they're looking for. 3, take some creatine monohydrate if you're not every day. That'll help with your pumps.
If you're really obsessed with getting a pump, then you might have to do like a pre-fatigue or pre-exhaust type thing. So if you're getting stronger in your squats or something like that, you might have to do some leg extensions or backward sled dragging or something like that before you do your main lift. That's what I usually recommend, especially for people that have these kind of dead areas that they have a hard time flexing and getting blood to. Try to find a movement where you can get a lot of blood flow to the area. Use the penis pump. Try to find something you can get a lot of blood to the area.
Wouldn't that be wild if you just walked into a gym and you saw a bro just like pumping away
in his gray sweatpants?
That'd be, yo.
But what if he's pumping up a bicep somehow? Right?
Yeah, with the same technology.
Pump. Yeah,
it is kind of like those little things they put on you when you go to like get a right?
Oh, shit, I gotta take a picture of this.
Massage.
Do it. And then I might be talking out of place, but also like if the strength is going up, maybe check to see how the reps are going, because you might. And I'm gonna say this is not gonna. I don't mean to be rude, but like you might be cheating the reps in a way. Like if you're going
momentum
for a heavy bench or something, you might be shorting the rep by like powerlifting and making it as easy as possible. Maybe try the opposite, like put your hands out wider, much lighter weight, slower, more reps, whatever it may be, to keep the time under tension and just keep, chasing that feeling as opposed to chasing the numbers. If you're catching the live right now, we just recorded an episode, so it's going to come out next week. But if you're watching the replay, check out the previous episode where we talked a lot about this, kind of similar topic.
It's about bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Might have to go with a little bit more carbs or something like that too. Maybe you don't have the calories and the energy to support what you're trying to do since you're lifting heavier.
Yeah. That makes a big difference.
Carbs are good.
Okay, so the 3 more super chats came in. We're going to answer those, and then we're going to get back to the chat. But Armani 23, someone likes luxury. If I draw the short straw and have to get a vasectomy, will that in any way lower my ability to produce testosterone or hinder muscle building? Well,
great question. That was the first question I asked when I went and got mine. And no, not at all. It will not mess with your testosterone at all. It won't really mess with anything.
Really?
No, it won't. It won't affect anything. Like literally, like all the things that you're wondering about, it doesn't fuck with any of it. The only thing it doesn't that it stops is your ability to inseminate an egg. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
those swimmers are dead inside.
But you still
do you like bust dust?
No, dude. See, I'm telling you, everything that you're wondering, nothing changes. You still shoot out heavy loads if you like hold up for a while. You can still shoot like clear.
Is there anything different about its consistency?
Nope, it's all the
color?
exact same. It's still same color, still same consistency.
How was the first bust post vasectomy? How did that feel?
That's the funny thing is like the doctor was like, yeah, it's going to take like 3 months before all your men are completely gone. Mm-hmm. And I was like, damn, 3 months. He's like, yeah, it's going to take about like 20 ejaculations in order for that to happen, like to clean out your system. I'm like, 20, huh? I'm like, all right, cool. So we got that done in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Challenge accepted.
And so I remember I messaged my doctor and I was like, hey, I know you said it was going to be like 3 weeks. I'm like, but I kind of already passed that 20, limit. Is it cool if I go get tested now? He's like, wow, okay, sure. Yeah. And sure enough, I can't make babies anymore. But so the first one though was like a little weird because he had said, he's like, your first ejaculation, you might see blood. And so I was very, very uncomfortable with that.
Did you see blood?
No, but it definitely wasn't a fun experience. Like I didn't enjoy it. I was just like, and it was fine. But yeah nothing changed due to testosterone. I've asked my doctor, and then I asked like a TRT doctor, and both of them were like, no, it doesn't affect it at all.
Let's
so you're
go.
good. Yeah.
All
but
right.
great question.
I heard celery and selenium can help you
Bigger loads, right?
with a bigger load.
Yeah.
I'm about to buy a foot ton of celery. Like fucking chomping on celery during the podcast.
we just have celery growing out of the table
Making
every day.
it rain.
Hey, I feel like I have a little bit of load envy though, because I'd be hearing about dudes that are just like busting and hitting the wall and shit. I'm like, damn, my load's average. I feel like I have average loads. I'm not out here trying to compare loads and shit, but I'm gonna start eating celery. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Celery and selenium.
Celery,
for
selenium.
all of January.
Okay. All right. Who else is planning on getting a vasectomy? Hit us up in the chat and let us know. This is interesting. This is very interesting.
It's a lot of fun after.
Yeah.
You can also just go on test and it'll lower your sperm count.
If you go on test hoping that it's gonna be birth control, you better not. You're still gonna impregnate somebody.
It might work great.
It might.
Yeah, get on a good dosage and get your sperm count checked.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, get on like 400 milligrams. You'll get pretty jacked, and you won't have to worry about it.
All right,
Allegedly.
we got another super chat from Boaz. It's a biblical name, I think. And then we have another super chat to get to after that, and then we're back to the chat. Boaz, thank you. And any recommendations for people who are trying to eat less meat? You're asking dudes that eat a lot of meat.
Is it just meat or is it like animal products altogether? Because I would say eggs would be an amazing way to go.
Okay. Yeah. Boaz, let us know. Yeah, eggs would be an amazing way to. I mean, you could like. I think a reference to go check out is the episode that we had with Simon Hill, from the Proof podcast. He's a plant-based guy who gets his protein in. He does have a good amount of muscle, but he eats his tofu, lentils, nuts, grains, seeds.
All that stupid shit. I mean,
he eats his tofu, lentils, nuts, grains, and seeds. But he's still pretty muscular,
He is.
Yeah.
I think I think what both sides will agree upon, whether people are more heavy into eating meat or more heavy into eating plants, both sides tend to agree to really watch out how much ultra processed foods that you have. And we talk about ultra processed foods. We're not talking about like your whey protein or the protein bar that you eat occasionally. We're talking about like junk food. So you want to try to watch that. And so if you're trying to just eat less meat, I would just say, sounds pretty simple. Just implement more plants. And like Andrew mentioned, eggs sounds like a really good plan.
Eggs, cheese,
that
sort of thing.
There you
cheese
go.
diet.
Yeah, fish. I don't know if like if you I mean, fish is meat, but some people don't look at it that way. So eat more fish, get some salmon, tilapia, all that good stuff. All right. So last super chat is from Mr. Also, guys, you got to make sure, because when we do this giveaway, you got to be part of the Discord. If you win, please message me on Discord and message me your email address and your address, because some sponsors require the email address if you win your hostage tape or whatever. But if you win the year supply of hostage tape, I'm going to need your address. So you got to be part of the Discord. If we call your name at the end and you've won whatever we end up giving away, add me and give me that information on Discord so we can get you your stuff. Okay, back to this question. This is a funny question. I'm natty, size, strength, meathead in mid-40s, 6'2", 225. How do I know when I should slow down being a beast? Or should I ever slow down? How should I stop being a beast, or should I like keep it going?
Just be jacked your whole life.
Yeah.
Why would you slow, like, if it's not affecting your health? I mean, if you're 6'2", 225 and you put that on yourself and it's like it's not affecting you negatively, why slow down?
Yeah, I don't see how it could be unhealthy. I mean, if you feel good and you're strong. I mean, I do think that it makes sense for a lot of people that were heavier when they were younger, trying to be like big and muscular and stuff. And it makes sense for Arnold and Stallone and some of these guys to like, not be as big as they used to be. And a lot of bodybuilders and people like myself. But 6'2", 225 sounds like a really good body weight. And if you were like 5'6", then maybe I would say, maybe you might need to bring your body weight down a little bit. But even that doesn't sound too heavy.
Yeah, and I mean, to quote, be a beast. It sounds like, if it's the lifting or whatever it is that you're saying maybe calm down from, you're just going to take that same like mentality and mindset into whatever next, whatever you're going to do next. So you're still going to be a beast regardless of what you do. Just like taking Mark as an example, from powerlifting, bodybuilding to now running, he's been a beast all the way through it. So I would say don't try to like suppress that like mindset and attitude. Just keep being a fucking monster and beasting through everything.
I really thought you were going to be like, don't suppress the beast.
Yeah, no. You
took it in another direction. I like that. I really like that.
Sounds like a Taco Bell commercial. Don't suppress the beast.
Yo.
Fifth meal.
Hey, Mark, this is a quick one since you have that glorious head. For Mark, how did you stop hair loss on cycle? You thought something else, huh?
No, nah.
Yeah. So did you do anything special for your hair?
Just handsome.
It's the same thing when people ask Nsima about his body. Just born that way. No, Nsima actually told one of the people that came in, he said, I'm Nigerian. One of the greatest answers of all time. But no, I didn't do anything in particular. I just, I don't know, I'm lucky. My grandfather on my mom's side was bald, and supposedly that's where you get it from. But I never ended up that way.
I fucking hate you. My dad's bald. All of my uncles are bald. The women in my family have amazing hair. My mom has glorious locks that go like down to her hips. Damn. But all the fucking men are bald. Damn. Shit hit me at 23.
My grandpa on my dad's side had hair, and my dad still has his hair. And my dad's hair didn't even like turn gray until he was like in his 50s.
Damn.
You lucky bastard. But I think for some reason I do think I'm better bald.
I did hear that you get your penis from your mom. This is interesting. Anyway, carry on.
Explain that. Wait, what do you mean?
I don't know. Genetically, I heard that you get it from your mom's like side.
Thanks for that nightmare.
So it's not actually from your mom, but it's from your mom's side, which is interesting.
Like chromosomes or something?
Something like that.
It's that does make sense.
We'll save that question for Huberman.
There we go. We'll save that for Hughes.
Somebody who's more qualified.
Yo. From Aaron Higdon. What do I need to do to feel better and improve my libido? Or am I on the right track and just give it time? FYI, I am on exogenous tests due to my provider feeling this is right. Feeling this right is more sustainable. Okay, so yeah, whatever. So, what should he do to improve his libido? If you're not getting good sleep, try to get good sleep because that makes a big difference. I think even if your testosterone's at a good place, if your sleep is shit, you're not gonna feel that level of energy.
Some people sometimes are overtrained, and sometimes people are. He did mention sleep. Sleep can be a huge part of it, obviously. So do your best to fix that. And then a lot of people just aren't. I don't think they're eating enough food. You know, so pay attention to your fat calories, especially like if your fat is really low and suppressed. I think people think just because they're doing like a replacement dose that it's going to like replace stuff and it's going to like fix everything. There is a possibility that you might need to communicate with your provider and, you know, tell them this information, but it's possible that you are just replacing where you were previously, and maybe that's a little too low for you. Maybe optimally would be for you to be a little bit higher, so you'll have to communicate with them on that. And it's tough to find the sweet spot of taking testosterone. It's like seems like some guys get along great with taking like 100, 120 milligrams. Other guys need a little bit more. So you kind of look into that. But the main things are your food, your sleep. Just like if you were natural, it's always the same. Comes back to the same things. I would say also just really pay attention to your training. Like, are you training twice a day and shit like that? You might need to back off a little bit.
Yeah.
And go to sleep at a good time. Let me tell you this. Go to sleep. Because even if you're going to sleep later, there's a period of time when I was going to sleep a little bit later. I was still getting the same hours of sleep, but my libido went down a lot because I was consistently, instead of going to bed at my normal bedtime, which is like 9:30 or 10, I was going to sleep at like midnight. But I was still sleeping a good amount of time, and my libido was shot. I didn't wake up feeling good. You know, I was still performing and doing what I needed to do in the gym and jiu-jitsu and shit, but I did not wake up with boners. I wasn't like that, like just because I was going to sleep later. That was the only thing. Once I changed that, going to sleep at 10 again, started waking up with like, nice thicky.
They say every every hour before 11 is supposedly the equivalent of 2 hours extra of sleep. I don't know why. I don't know if that's like for everybody, but it sucks for, you know, some people that have shift work and stuff like that. It makes it more complicated. But so if you can kind of stick to that rule, you know, thinking of like, shit, if I can get to bed at like 9 or 10, those are huge bonuses that might lead to huge boners.
Yeah. And
There we go.
If you're, you know, on TRT through a doctor, hopefully they're running enough, blood work. But for me, my estrogen kind of skyrocketed, and that's when things started getting weird. Like, I still wanted to, but like the equipment wasn't quite working the way it should have. So like that was pretty terrible because like you want to, but you can't. Like that was terrible. And then so just check on the estrogen, make sure that's good, and then maybe get that under control if it's not. And then the other stuff that anybody can do also, but like clean up your feeds. You know, if your phone has porn and a bunch of chicks on IG, when you see the real thing in real life, you might not be as interested, and therefore the libido might not be as high as it should.
Over to dudes.
Yes, nothing
and
but
lots
dudes.
of pro wrestling.
Lots of muscle. Oily men, that's the best thing to have on your feet. Because then when you look at a woman, you're like, oh, yeah. Right?
Almost
oily
as
men yelling
jacked
at
as
each
him.
other.
Yeah.
It works every time.
Trust me, it's and there's nothing wrong with being gay if you are, but it's not gay. It's just it's the opposite, right?
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
And then if that gets your libido going, then maybe
Yeah.
And
which
there's
is
nothing
fine.
wrong with that.
Totally fine.
There's
Boring
nothing wrong
something
with
else.
that.
Yeah.
Truly. Why are you laughing at that, Andrew? Do you have something to say?
I was clearing my throat.
What's in your throat?
I don't.
Yeah,
I
what
don't
is
know.
in your throat, Andrew?
I can put something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like some tea or some shit. I got some tea right here.
Like, I just want to take care of you.
What?
So you're like, I'll put something in some warm tea because I'm concerned if your throat's a little scratchy. Don't worry, buddy. I got you.
Oh my goodness.
You know what that's from, don't you?
I actually don't know what that's from. What's it from?
My brothers would always say it's from sucking too much dick.
Yeah.
I'd be like, man, I got something. My neck is killing me. I think it's from football or something, man. The other day, my brother's like, yeah,
that
you know
actually
what that's
that's applicable.
Yeah,
if you have
oh
neck pain,
my
that's
gosh,
applicable.
dude.
I'm like, you got a good point.
Yeah.
First time Mark fucking just annihilated me was with something like that. I forgot what it was.
He annihilated you, huh?
but- Yeah.
Yo, you got to
Walked
pick your
into
words
the-
better when you go into this shit, Kyle.
Walking into
Oh, yeah, he
the,
got annihilated.
Yep. Several times, especially in the old gym.
Oh my
a lot
goodness.
in the new gym.
But this falls in line with that sleep question. It's from Ross Alvaro. And after answering this question, I'm going to go to the bottom of the chat because a lot of you guys asked questions that we've missed. But Ross asks, what are your biggest things when it comes to falling asleep at night? Been having the worst problems falling asleep and staying asleep. I know y'all got a lot of tips.
Yeah. You know, some of this stuff sounds so ridiculous sometimes because like we say it all the time and we just keep repeating ourselves. But if you can just try to get yourself to relax, you need to really relax to go to sleep and to stay asleep. I think if something's on your mind, you're going to tend to want to wake up. And I think it's like sleep is like a practice. You know, it's something that you have an opportunity every night to practice. So sometimes people get in a habit. I was guilty of this. I would say I suck at sleep. And then me saying that I suck at sleep, now I get a pass. Any advice that Nsima gives me on sleep, I can just say I suck at it and I don't know how to do that. Oh, how's the mouth tape work? Or how's this work? How's that work? Oh, I keep ripping the mouth tape off. And I can just keep complaining about it and not really get anywhere. So the little simple things, getting your phone out of your room, or if you can't get it out of your room, put it somewhere where it's further away to where you can charge it. Try to use your bed mainly for sleeping and fucking. Try not to watch TV in your bed. Try not to mess around on your phone too much in your bed. All those little things are a big deal. But I found actually something that Nsima has mentioned before on the show, just breathing, to be really, really beneficial at helping me not only get to sleep, but to stay asleep. So I just work on some deeper exhales. I just breathe in normal and maybe 4 or 5 second exhale. I don't know why, but I sometimes have a tendency to like kind of hold my breath or a tendency to be short with my air on the way out. And I don't feel like a tense or stressed person, but I do like to do a lot of shit in a day. So maybe some of that, maybe I hold on to some of that when I'm going to sleep. So when I go to sleep, I lay down and I just try to go, just let a couple 4-second breaths out, do that a couple times, and I'm usually out. And that has been really helping me a lot.
Nice. Andrew, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, just whatever it takes to build that sleep pressure. Sleep pressure meaning, I don't know, we've all felt it where it's like you kind of feel the waves of the sleep coming when they shouldn't be there. You know, like I remember being at my desk at work, just be like, fuck, if I had a bed, I would pass out because I had a lot of sleep pressure built up. Ways that I recommend people can do that is to wake up earlier. You know, so like if you're waking up with just enough time to get to work or whatever it may be, wake up a little bit earlier. Don't lean on more caffeine to kind of help balance that out. And then also if that doesn't work, take out all caffeine for that day. I know I personally lean on caffeine a lot to get through the day. When I take that out, man, it's just, I pass out pretty quickly. I don't really have a problem with it, with falling asleep as is, but like with taking some time off of jiu-jitsu and like having my energy sustained throughout the day, I've noticed that like, yeah, it actually takes me a little bit longer to fall asleep now. And I'm like, whoa, this is interesting. But, you know, just some of the practices with using mouth tape and, you know, of course, keeping all the lights dim and red towards the end of the day, I was still able to fall asleep pretty quick, considering some people that, you know, with everybody that has a hard time falling asleep, they would consider it to be fast. But yeah, that's what I would say is like whatever it takes to just build up that sleep pressure. If it means waking up early, working out a little bit harder, and then getting rid of the caffeine.
Do you guys like the nose strips? Both of you guys, because I think I saw it somewhere in the chat, and but somebody asked, do you find nasal strips effective? Sorry, I didn't see your name, but do you guys find them effective?
I usually go with one or the other. I usually go with the mouth tape or the nose. I don't usually do both. But the nasal strips, I feel like my nose does pretty good on its own, so I don't usually use them that often. Sometimes I'll use them for a run, and I do find that it helps me breathe a little bit better.
Yeah, I do both. And if I have to have one only, it's going to be the nose strip. It's kind of my warm blanket right now. If I don't have it, I feel like something's like, this is not normal. Something's way off. I eventually fall asleep, but I really love the nose strips. And the ones that we have from Hostage Tape are like, they stick really well. I was using Breathe Right strips, and I'd always wake up with my left side open for some reason, like that it would just come completely off. But the Hostage Tape ones work really well.
All right, Project family, it's time to step up your barefoot shoe game. Now, we talk about foot health all the time on the podcast, but the winter months are coming, and Vivo's come out with some slick boots. These are their Gobi boots, and they have different colors on their website. Now, these have a wide toe box, they are flat, and they are flexible, and they are stylish and sexy as boots. But obviously, Vivo is awesome because they not only have boots and casual shoes like their Novus right here, which again, wide, flat, flexible, so that your foot can do what it needs to do within the shoe, and you're getting the benefit of having your feet improve while you're walking around in shoes. But they also have shoes for the gym, like their Modus, again, flat, flexible, wide toe box, along with their Primus Light 3s and all the classics that you know. They also have shoes for running and trail running on their website. So again, for all barefoot type shoes, Vivo is your one-stop shop for pretty much all the types of kicks you need. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, you guys got to head over to vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. There you guys will see a code at the top. Make sure you guys enter that code and you'll save 15% off your order. Again, vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. Links in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Guys, if you haven't, there's an episode we did with Sandra Kahn. Sandra Kahn was the author of the book Jaws. It's an amazing book on how your orofacial health will affect the way you breathe, which affects the way you develop. But one thing that she was talking about that people might not be doing as they're using mouth tape is creating suction in your mouth. And when I mean creating suction, it's like sticking just try to stick your tongue to the roof of your mouth and swallow some spit, and you'll feel like some suction in your mouth. You want, like, when you're wearing your mouth tape, because sometimes people wear mouth tape and they're still slack-jawed, meaning their tongue is at the bottom of their mouth. When you wear your mouth tape, create that suction in your mouth so that now your jaw is clamped. And what would happen is, even if you weren't wearing mouth tape, your mouth is going to stay closed. That's a practice you want to start to try to do. Because some people have been doing this naturally, and it comes naturally to them, right? But a lot of people, because they had the tendency of mouth breathing before, and now they started using mouth tape, etc., they still have the tendency of their tongue being on the bottom of their mouth, and it's like they have a mouth breathing posture with their mouth closed and tape on their mouth. So create that suction when you're using your hostage tape at night, and that's going to make a difference. Because some nights I don't use my hostage tape, but I still wake up with my mouth closed and my mouth is nice and moist because I didn't open it during the night. And that's because there's suction going on in there.
I got some exercises for you guys to try. Andrew, see if you can bring up the clip.
Ooh. Do you need audio?
This is something I've actually been practicing, and it actually makes your tongue tired.
Oh, no.
Hey, now.
Oh, yeah. Always good to make that tongue tired.
Oh, you fucker.
Oh, son of a bee.
But doing this is the equivalent of wearing a diaper all day because you're too lazy to sit down and take a shit. If you don't know what it is, this is mouth tape, and it is a pretty big craze right now. And I am a proponent of it in terms of it bringing awareness to nasal breathing and the implications of mouth breathing. However, people are now relying on tape to keep their mouth shut while they sleep or exercise to prevent mouth breathing, snoring, or sleep apnea, and they are ignoring the root cause. The root cause is lazy tongues and throats and the resulting narrowing of the airways. Instead of taping your mouth shut, you can do daily, simple, quick exercises with the tongue and practice awareness of the posture of your tongue. So try these 4 exercises. These were shown to improve snoring and sleep apnea by 50%. That is a huge improvement and an actual long-lasting change, not just a literal Band-Aid stuck to your face. So here's what you do. The first exercise is super simple. You stick out your tongue as far as possible and hold for 20 seconds. Try not to touch the teeth of the lips with your tongue. The next movement, you'll suction your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And this is also great tongue posture. It should be like this normally. Then you're going to open as wide as possible before the tongue loses suction and hold for 20 seconds. The third movement is lip tracing. You're going to do this one for 20 to 30 rotations in both directions.
I don't know if you're really
until
tired.
it starts to burn. And it will. Last, you're going to stick your tongue back down your throat as far as possible. You're going to rotate side to side for 5 seconds. And then you're going to release and repeat 5 more times. After this, you'll repeat the whole series 2 or 3. I know this is going to piss some people off.
Yeah, that's great.
That last one's kind of hard, trying to swallow your own tongue. Yeah, I saw like it was an advertisement. I don't know what's effective, what's not effective, but it was something that basically helps walk you through that. And it was like a device that you kind of put on the end of your tongue.
Oh,
I think some of these things are worth a try. I think they're worth people putting some effort into them to see if they work, because why not?
so as we were watching that video, the chat couldn't hear any of it.
Oh, no.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I just saw that in the chat. So we're over here doing all this facial stuff.
No.
Maybe we should link, Andrew, can you copy and paste the link to
Yeah.
that video so that
That's
people
good. They
can
let
check
us
it out?
know. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Anyway, the guy just did a bunch of like tongue circles, stuck his tongue out forward, and
Yeah.
Oh, that's
all that
good
kind
to
of
know.
stuff.
I
We
don't
can-
have a send going there. Okay.
Okay, so we should figure out, when should we like fire Wyatt Films? Because Wyatt, Andrew, let me tell you the
Did
things that
Wyatt
Wyatt
mess it
just
up?
said in the chat. No, Wyatt was like, no audio. We can't hear anything. L producer.
Hey.
Wyatt Films would never let this happen. Andrew, how do you feel about that?
I mean, come try.
Wyatt, he just called you out, big boy.
Yeah, come take over, buddy.
There's lots of buttons to push over there.
There's a couple.
That video was really good, though. We'll put it. Andrew's put it in the chat, so you guys will be able to see what we talked about, or what was talked about in there. But
Yeah.
because there's other ways of like helping your facial posture. So, yeah. Okay. More cuestiones. Real quick. Oh, Andrew. Did you see that question, Andrew?
The most recent one from MR.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when's Andrew's next SARM cycle? I can confidently answer that and say never. Although Sarmageddon was like a net positive for me, I had a lot of fun time doing it, like the whole like mini documentary and stuff. But SARMs itself was a huge. Nah, I don't recommend SARMs for anybody. They were not good for me. They're not good for anybody. And like Vigorous Steve said, SARMs are for quitters or some shit like that. Yeah, he was like, just do steroids.
Hey, he kept laughing about them.
Yeah, I was like, hey, like it's a serious question.
Yeah, but I did look up some more information on SARMs when he left. And interestingly enough, I think Tren was in the category of SARMs, which is kind of interesting.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe you will try some SARMs again.
I rewind the live stream.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I'd look some stuff up.
Trenageddon.
Yeah, I think SARMs were supposed to work a very specific way, and I just don't think they worked out quite the way that they thought they would, but who knows?
Yeah. All right. Well, next question from Nicholas Otzug. Hello. Hey, fellas. Curious if you have any words of guidance for someone looking to get into the fitness industry, the various avenues. Which would you recommend to pursue at first to make an okay living?
I would just say that, like, the people that are making some money with it, I would look at them and then see what attributes they have. What are tangible things that they have? What are some things that they might have that you can gain access to the quickest? Is it their knowledge? Is it the fact that they're entertaining? Is it the fact that they're intriguing? Are they engaging? Because you don't necessarily have to be big. You don't necessarily have to be lean. You don't have to have a particular look or any of those things, but sometimes those things can be big factors and they can really help. But what I would advise you to do the most is I would advise you to lean into what you like the most about fitness.
Yes.
Learn and gather that up as much as you can. And then hopefully you can kind of make something from there. If you look at Sam Solik has like cracked this code that no one's ever been able to crack before. I don't think anyone's really seen somebody come along that fast. And the cool thing is it's not the Liver King situation where he's got to spin a lot of plates. It just appears that that's Sam Solik, and it's just the way that he is. He just communicates to the camera about what he loves about training and how much he enjoys it and stuff like that. And so I would advise that be kind of your path, is to, because I've been doing this for decades now, and it doesn't really feel like work. I enjoy it still. I still have a lot of fun. After this, I did a podcast before this. I'm doing a podcast right now, and after this, I'm going to go record some more stuff for a audiobook thingy that I've been working on. So if you find it that you enjoy it and that you like it, it's going to be easier for you to be good at it. It's going to be easier for you to excel.
One thing I'd also say is go with what you're interested in, like something that you truly like, enjoy, whether it's bodybuilding, whether it's like the functional side of fitness, and take some time to learn. Because like, you know, a lot of times you'll see people who, let's say that they haven't taken time to learn much, but they just start because they want to do something in fitness. They just create content, and it's not like it's a bad thing, but if you haven't worked with people, or you haven't really learned much, then it's like, what are you doing? Because then I think that you get into the situation where there are guys out there, and they're popular, but there are guys out there who just spend all their time flexing on camera, and that's it. Like, what do you're not learning anything. They're just flexing, right? I'm not saying that you got to be super informational like Lane Norton or anything like that, but is there something that you've done for a while that you can give and share with people that they can now take and do? It doesn't need to be super scientific. If you've been doing stuff for a while and you have really great habits, and these are things that you know people are going to get benefit from, share it. Put it out there, put it into the ether. It might start off not getting a lot of interaction, but the thing is people are going to start to get benefit from these little things that you do, and then you're building off of that. But the thing that I never wanted to do was just be that guy that's big and flexes all the time, and that's all he's got, right? Because there are tons of those, but there aren't many people who are really giving good information for you to take. So just give away shit for free. That's what I would suggest initially.
Yeah, that's why I asked you to be on the show.
Oh yeah,
because you're a pro bodybuilder, you know, and I think at the time you're like, oh, I don't even know what I have to offer, but you already had a YouTube video. You already had YouTube videos going. You were already somebody that thinks about it more so than just does it. So I was like, this is going to be great. But you're somebody that you're a sounding board. I can ask you a lot of questions. I can ask you tons of questions about bodybuilding, and I know that even if it was 5 years ago, you would still have a lot of answers. You know, so I agree with what you're saying. I think, yeah, dive in on like what aspect of fitness do you like specifically, build yourself up within that realm, and hopefully you'll be able to turn that into something.
Wyatt, did you just sneak diss Kenny? Wyatt, I'm not talking about Kenny. Kenny shares a lot of information.
Oh, God.
He has a fucking show right now.
Yeah. And, so along with like what they just said, also like thinking about like who you can better serve. So like maybe even like niching down, like, I don't know, like dads over 40 with a little bit of time because they have kids. Like that's a certain subject or subsect of like the fitness industry or fitness realm or whatever. But like you could have a huge impact on them because, I mean, I'm about to be 40, like 2 years, and like I would follow you and I would want to pay attention to you and stuff like that. So like, like don't be afraid to like really niche down, because it's like, okay, yeah, working out with a little bit of time. Like, okay, well, nobody has time. Working out with a little bit of time because you work full time and you have kids. Like, oh shit, that's me. What does this guy have to say? So like, again, like trying to find who you can better serve and then learning how you can better serve them. So that way, you know, you start developing your own like little core group of fans.
There's some people that don't even talk.
Yeah.
They just like point, and you know, there's a couple guys they just point like this is, you know, and then they
not TikTok.
they do like a lift, you know, but they found like their page is full of just that. So you might not even, you might feel, you know, somebody might say, hey, you need to learn how to talk in front of the camera, and maybe you don't, you know, like, but again, find what you like, find what you love. The thing that you'll find in common with those people that just point and stuff like that, they are usually shredded. So that's a skill set in and of itself. Our boy Dre, you know, when he was here, you know, I was encouraging him to talk more on camera and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's like more like you know, he just wants to kind of show you what he's doing with the kettlebells and stuff like that. But I mean, he's found a niche. He's a kettlebell guy. We've had other kettlebell guys on the show. We've had a bunch of different people on the show, and if you kind of look at the ones that have survived and still have great content and are still excelling in the fitness industry, it's because they followed what they were most interested in and they stayed on track with that.
There we go. Oh, I missed this question. Didn't see it. But this guy, Rock Humper, asked about occlusion training, if it's just a gimmick, BFR, or if it's actually useful. BFR is solid. I'm going to be short with it, but BFR is solid if you have minimal time to train, or if you literally injured something. If you like injured your knee, injured your elbow, you're not able to work with heavy weights. Let's say you have an elbow tendonitis or some shit, and it's hard for you to work with heavier weights. Fucking put on a BFR band or a cuff it enough. It's you want to find enough pressure where you can actually do the movement, keep the blood in the area, and but not so tight where the area starts turning a different color, right? Do high reps. You're still going to be able to drive a lot of blood to that muscle group, get a bit of development without having to use really heavy loads. So it's good in specific situations. If you're perfectly healthy, do I think you need to do occlusion training all the time? No. But if you're limited on time or you have a joint injury and you can't work with load, do occlusion training. It's going to be a godsend for you.
I think it's incredible for an injury, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. God, there's so many. Okay. Ooh, golly.
I'm going to pee and let you guys handle the next question.
But the next one was on TRT.
Oh, son of a...
We'll get to that later.
Save it.
Okay. Trying to bulk up but refuse to stop kickboxing / BJJ. How can I lift 5 to 6 days per week? What the fuck? And MMA 3 days per week while gaining muscle. Better to do 4 2-a-days or MMA 3 days. Lift 4 days.
Oh my God.
No rest. Okay, so Brian, your main thing is going to be eating enough food to fuel the activity needed for growth. Because you can be getting in those lifting days, but the thing is you're doing so much activity that it's going to be hard for you to eat the amount of calories. Like with someone like you, I don't even know what your weight is, but I already know you got to be eating above probably 3,500 calories if you're above 180 pounds, right? And if you're heavier, if you're in the 200s, you're going to be eating 4,000 something calories per day, which is tough. But you got to think about this. You have so many things that you have energy to do, and if you're trying to lift and you're doing multiple MMA days and you're doing certain double days, your lifting will be progressive, but it's going to be, the muscle gain will be very, very slow. It's going to happen. It's just going to be slower than you want it to be. If you want it to be faster, you need to slow down on something else. So whatever you think is the thing that you can kind of maybe take out of the routine, or maybe not even take out of the routine, but maybe with your MMA sessions or with any of your grappling sessions, is there a way that you can expend less energy? So maybe you can drill differently. You don't have to do so much live sparring that you're burning so many calories. That will allow you to have more energy to put into your list, but that'll also allow you to not expend so much that you're still going to be able to grow well. Mm-hmm. With someone expending this much too, I would also suggest that you eat more than more than a gram per pound of protein per day. So I would err on the side of like 1.2, 1.3 grams per pound, because you're expending so much, and the extra protein is just going to be good for protein synthesis. That would be my suggestion to you, dog. You're doing a lot. So
yeah,
good for you.
Pay attention to that recovery, though. Go just as hard on that recovery if you can.
Yeah, that's going to make a big difference.
Multiple training sessions a day.
Yeah, he's trying to get bigger, though.
He's doing non-stop training.
Yeah, BJJ, MMA, and lifting, and doing high frequency. So
I know a lot of CrossFitters did it with carbs, too, so a little bit of carbohydrate, to help get you from one workout to the next is probably very necessary if you're not already hammering some carbs.
Yeah. Okay. Gosh, why can't I get to the very top of the chat? So, guys, if you asked a question at the beginning of this, for some reason it's not allowing me to scroll to the beginning. So right now I'm working with the new questions. So if you want to ask your question that I missed, ask it. But there are some questions I took pictures of because I knew this would happen. Let's see. How was your was it a piss, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
Was it okay?
Everything came out okay. I had to blow my nose a little bit. I got some boogers going on.
Mm-hmm. That's unfortunate. Oh, this is one that I actually wanted to answer. I'm glad I found it. Glad I took a picture. From Devin Stapleton. Have you guys ever tried to go off caffeine? If so, any tips on how to quit?
Fuck.
It's difficult, man. I don't feel like I have a lot of caffeine, but the amount that I have, my body loves. So if I go to zero, my body's like pretty pissed about it. I've tried a bunch of different things too. I have gotten rid of coffee a couple times before, and I survived it. But the first like 3 days is pretty shitty. I've done things where I've had like just espresso, and espresso, you know, you can look it up online, but I think it was like 50 or 75 milligrams of caffeine. I'm like, let me just have like an Americano, like a single shot Americano. So I did that for a while, and that worked pretty good. But man, it just seems to be tough to like completely get rid of it. Seems like can give you like headaches and stuff. But I would say it's worth trying. But I also don't think that caffeine is that negative, personally.
I'll say this, too. One thing that I think you should try, and I know this morning I'm kind of cheating since I had this fucking 150 milligram Newtonic thing, but one thing I've been doing a lot recently is not having coffee every morning. I still have coffee some mornings, but I'm doing a lot more tea now. So I didn't totally get rid of caffeine. The tea maybe has 30, 40 milligrams of caffeine, but it's hot. It has a little bit of caffeine. It hits that. I think one reason I like coffee is obviously the caffeine, but it's this nice warm drink you can drink in the morning that makes your, it's great, right? So tea hits that, and it's a little bit less. So I like switching between tea on certain days and coffee on other days that I feel like today's a coffee day, right? I like doing that more now, so it's not coffee every fucking day. But I don't think I'm ever gonna totally stop drinking coffee.
Yeah,
it's too good.
We did it for Sober October a couple years back. Man, I want to say like the first 2 weeks for me were really, really tough. They were miserable. I had such a bad headache.
You said a few weeks back?
No, I said a few years back.
Was that the one where like we all quit and then I stopped early?
Quitting? Yeah.
And I gave the excuse, well, I'm not on testosterone. I need coffee.
Well, I mean, whatever the case, it was really hard. And so I did like towards the end of September all the way through like the end of January, no caffeine. Beginning was horrible. The end was just okay. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It was like, yeah, I feel fine, but like, there's no point in doing this. Like, I'm gonna just drink some coffee and have some caffeine in my life. I've definitely tapered off quite a bit. I'll still do like a double espresso shot for breakfast every day, or with breakfast every day. But before jiu-jitsu, I used to have like basically like a full cup of coffee. Yeah. And now if I do that, I start feeling kind of sick. I don't know what the hell happened recently, but like I have to cut that in at least, or at the most, at half of that, and I'll be okay. But like I've even done no caffeine before jiu-jitsu, and I've been feeling pretty good doing that. So I don't know what's changed recently, but that's just been happening.
Yeah.
I think it's worth getting rid of. You got to keep in mind, like we're on the side of caffeine, you know, along with a lot of other people. So it's easy to make a lot of excuses for it. It's almost like we sound a little bit like alcoholics. Like, man, I don't feel any different, you know, having a couple of drinks here and there. It's not a big deal, but
everybody does it.
It's worth exploring. It's worth looking into. It's hard to figure out like what has caffeine in it, even because there's a lot of stuff that's sold to us. There's a lot of colas and a lot of different drinks and stuff that if they don't say caffeine free, then that means they probably have some caffeine in them. I have a bunch of like Zevia drinks and stuff like that, and I drink those kind of randomly throughout the day, and I'm like, shit, I kind of forget that a lot of these have caffeine in them just because it doesn't say it on there. It just basically means it doesn't have like 200 milligrams probably.
Dude, I will say the one thing that makes me uncomfortable is how good coffee makes me feel, because there are certain mornings I've woken up and I'm just been like, whew, today, not feeling it. Have my cup of coffee. 5-10 minutes later, whew, man, I'm gonna kill today. Today's so good. And it's just like, fuck, that was coffee that gave that to me. Like, it's the fact that it's just so artificial bothers me.
Yeah. And it's a plant. Does that mean we're vegan? I mean, come on.
Yeah, but I think
trying to save the planet, Mark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I think
or whatever.
I think that's why, like, it's. I like going for the tea route sometimes because I can still feel good without needing coffee to feel good, because there was a phase where I needed coffee to get going in the morning. I was one of those guys who like, fucking don't talk to me before I have my coffee. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
And that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not a good place to be.
I know, but you can't, I guess you could, but I like steak shaken coffee, and you can't put steak shaken tea. It won't taste as good.
Yeah, it's
true. That shit's good.
That's so good.
When do we have Sean Baker? We got Sean Baker coming up in January, right?
Yeah,
Carnivore
soonish.
month.
That'll be fun.
Andrew hooked him up with his podcast and everything.
Yeah.
He was just on Rogan.
I haven't checked in on that in a while, but
Oh,
yeah.
you should check in on him. Say what's up. He's been doing some jiu-jitsu, but he had to cool it a little
yeah.
bit. He got a little bit of a injured neck. I think he's
Got stem cells in that bitch.
I think he's doing pretty good now. He's a big motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's huge.
He's gonna be like right here.
I know he maxes out the height of the fucking microphone stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a huge thing in his neck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I told him it was the vaccine.
Oh god.
He was mad at me.
Did he get it?
No, he got a shot in his neck, and I was like, "Why'd you let them hit you with the vax in your neck?" And he's like, "Ha ha ha."
He just looks like a giant. Real quick question. This is something that won't take too much thought, but Patrick Grobe asks, if you had to choose one because of budget, sauna or cold plunge? I'm going to get both eventually. Which would be more beneficial to get first?
I would say it's hard to mimic the. Really hard to mimic the sauna, right?
Yeah. You can't just take a cold shower. You can't just take a hot shower.
And even like a hot tub is like not the same as a sauna, right?
So I got to say that cold plunge is like I cold plunged this morning. If you cold plunge, you don't need coffee.
No.
Although it's like a very expensive cup. Either way, it's like you cold plunge, you don't need coffee.
But then you save $5 a day. At the end of a year, you'd be like a millionaire.
True.
5 times 365 times a couple years. Yeah, they're both incredible. I guess I would, if I had to choose and I was looking at price, I'd have to try to pick which one is cost less, right? I mean, I would imagine the cold plunges nowadays are probably 4 or 5K, right?
Yeah.
In that range.
Yeah.
That sounds. I can't determine what's reasonable for people, but that sounds pretty good in comparison.
That's
A
what
sauna can be kind of expensive, right?
you skip,
more
going out
expensive.
to dinner for one night. I mean, that sounds worth it.
The sauna.
Yeah, what's a bag of potatoes cost? Like $8,000.
So one thing to check out, if you guys have been looking into a sauna, Plunge made a sauna recently. That's not an infrared sauna. It has a good square footage. So like you don't need a crazy amount of space and it can seat like 6 people. You can plug in it outside. And it's a real sauna. It goes to like to 220 or 230 or something, right?
Nice.
I think it starts at like $9,000. So I mean,
Yeah, I think a sauna is going to usually start a little higher. I think, yeah.
infrared saunas are cheaper than that. You'll find some for like maybe $6,000 or $7,000. But the thing is, infrared doesn't hit you like it's a different type because apparently they say infrared gets deeper, penetrates deeper into the skin or some shit.
Yeah.
But
Penetration. That's a whole nother podcast.
why'd you
Yeah,
have to do
Susan
that?
Bratton's coming back soon.
Actually, yeah, we'll hit you guys in the Discord with sex questions because when she comes, we want to be able to. If you guys have questions for her, we want to be able to have those questions ready. And again, because soon we're going to pick winners for today's giveaway, 3-4 winners, and you need to be in the Discord. You need to add me. And you need to give me your address and your email address so I can get you your goodies. So one person's going to win a year's supply of hostage tape. One person's going to win something from Within You. One person's going to win something from Viore. And someone else is going to win something from Vivo. Okay? So some shoes. So
And Nsima's giving away his hat.
I can give you a link of where you can buy it. So yeah, unless you want the one that's like dirty and shit. But it's time to step up your wardrobe. Now, we've partnered with Viore Clothing because their clothes are stuff that you can wear in the gym, but also on the go, to a dinner, on a date, pretty much anywhere. This is their Stratotech tank, and this is their rain shirt jacket. You guys have probably seen me wear these types of combos on this podcast for a long time now, and the stuff is super comfortable. It fits super well, and the winter months are coming, so you need to get yourself some nice long sleeve wear from their website. They also have a lot of other stuff like their Stratotech tee, their core shorts, which they have a ton of different colors, and they're pretty damn amazing. Their Ponto line, their Ponto Performance line with their Dream Knit fabric is super soft, like a baby's bottom, as weird as that sounds. They have a lot of amazing stuff on their website. Their Boulevard shirt jackets, Aspen shirt jackets, their sweaters. Let me show you something real quick. This is their Echo insulated jacket, and it is so warm. And since the winter months are coming, I'm going to be rocking this so much more. Guys, there's endless stuff for you on their website that just looks so good and performs so well. How can they get it?
You guys can get it over at viore.com/power project. That's VUORI. BLOODWORK.com/power project, and you guys receive 20% automatically when you go to that. Links down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Actually, okay, I got a quick question here. I'm a BJJ purple belt. This is from Stu Cannon with chronic back problems from 14 years of grappling. Any suggestions on how to rehab it? Stu Cannon. It's actually interesting. Andrew and I were talking about this the other day, and Stella, Mike Stella's his name?
Yep.
Mike Stella came onto the podcast and said the IBJJF did a questioning, and they said, like, how many jiu-jitsu athletes have back pain?
700%.
Yeah. I was like, okay, maybe 50, 60%. And it's like 95% or some shit. Every jiu-jitsu athlete has back pain. And the funny thing is, it's like there's a narrative that if you start, like, there's like memes on it where it's like, what does jiu-jitsu give you? Self-confidence, back pain, arthritis. It's like all these fucking things, right? It's like, but the funny thing is, I had a lot of lower back pain before starting jiu-jitsu, like annoyances and stuff in that area. And as I've continued to do jiu-jitsu, because of what I do with strength training and movement, I don't have back pain now. I don't have lower back pain, and I do a lot of grappling every single week. So the thing is I don't believe that you have to have back pain, but I think you have to do things in the gym within your lifestyle to help mitigate that. So the things that you can be doing in the gym are things like movements like the Jefferson curl, movements that allow you to bend a little bit. Like if you have a sled, can you pull the sled normally? Can you pull the sled rounding your back a little bit? What you want to try to do is, again, and when you do all these movements, you want to do them slowly, but you want to try to strengthen your ability to back bend. Because in jiu-jitsu, you're doing a lot of passive back bending when you're playing guard or when you're passing guard. You're doing it with somebody else's body weight. But the reason why I don't have that back pain anymore is because I've increased my ability to handle load with my back in the gym, along with being able to move in and out of those positions with loaded. Meaning now, so that when I go and grapple with a person, it's not as much load as I've been working with already because I'm now stronger in that area. So you need to spend time strengthening that area, and you don't want to avoid it. So that would be my suggestion. Seated good mornings, pancake, there's a seated pancake movement that you can do with a cable. So which, again, it's like you have a handle in front of you, you're seated on the ground, legs wide. You allow the weight to pull you forward, and then you come out of that. QLs are good for side bending, but in essence, you want to try to work your spine and your back with 360 degrees. So you bend forward, you have extensions backward. The pullover is great for putting your back into extension. You have the QL raises, which you could do on a lower back extension, but that's lateral flexion. You want to try to work your back in 360 degrees. Give it time. Don't do too much too soon. And over time, your back pain will go away. And initially, it'll drastically lessen.
It's such a weird sport because you have to deal with a person and the ground simultaneously. You know, like in something like boxing, obviously you're dealing with the ground and a person at the same time. But the ground isn't like blocking stuff. Like the ground is just for like your feet.
Yeah.
But in jiu-jitsu, a lot of times you're on your back and then someone's trying to like pass your guard or do things kind of through your hips. Andrew, what do you think is like a limiter? Like, does it have to do you feel like it has to do with like how wide your legs can go kind of freely? Is it some sort of expression of mobility? Or like, what do you think is the thing that like fucks people's backs when they get into jiu-jitsu?
I would say being too rigid all the time. Like I know for myself, like I came into the sport with the like almost powerlifting, right? We want to like brace ourselves before we do something. So when I'd hit the mats and somebody was coming at me, or I was trying to pass someone's guard, and I'd go. Somebody would have my legs up, and I'd tense up, and all of a sudden it's like, oh fuck, like everything's hurting. So like I would make my body so rigid that the second that it started to get moved, or I tried to move it, it would start to hurt too much. Versus now I'm kind of like glowing with the flow, you know, like I'm trying to be less rigid and trying to breathe a little bit better and not so panicky. So that's what it was for me. But I would say like mobility is definitely a limiting factor. Because yeah, if you're just not used to having your knee like being forced to your chest, or literally being like the ground is where my shoulders are, right? Like I'm upside down, completely inverted. Like if you're not comfortable being there and you're not able to like breathe through that, and you're not able to even just get in that position without being hurt, like you're going to get messed up pretty bad. You know,
hey, think about it. You get pushed into positions that you otherwise couldn't get pushed into because of the weight of a person. and because of the floor, like at this simultaneously. So it's wild, right? I mean, you don't really see that often in other sports, like someone swinging a baseball bat or something, right? Their back moves in a crazy way, or the pitcher, their back moves in a crazy way, but it's in a way that they're totally used to. And it's in a way that they're familiar to. And yes, they did shove their body into that position with a tremendous amount of force and the swing of a baseball bat. But in jiu-jitsu, you're doing it where you got something else that's blocking a lot of the other energy. And you're getting like crushed. And it's probably really, this guy's been doing jiu-jitsu for over a decade. So he's probably used to a lot of these positions. He's probably used to the breathing and stuff like that. But man, it's just fucking crazy what you guys do. And you're getting literally forced into positions that your body otherwise wouldn't be able to get into.
And Andrew, you have less back pain now than when you started jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that fucking hilarious?
Like a lot less though, right?
Way less. I think there's multiple factors. There is being put into those positions that I can't do myself. Obviously there was the progression of going from being in hella pain to, experiencing Goda and all that stuff to being in less pain. And then also I think the biggest factor is like when I had a lot of back pain, I was still able to do almost everything I wanted to do. But then once I got into jiu-jitsu, I was like, no, I have something to strive for. I have something to get better for. So then like the back stuff, I started working more on it, even though it was kind of like my identity back then, but it still wasn't limiting everything. But if I have back pain now, like it's going to limit my jiu-jitsu, and I would hate that.
Yeah.
So like if I do feel something, I instantly start addressing it right away. Whereas before it's like, nah, we'll get to it or whatever it may be. So it's just given me like a really good focus. And because of jiu-jitsu, my back pain, I mean, it's non-existent, like it's, of course I'm going to wake up and it's like, oh, something feels a little iffy, or not iffy, but like I feel a sensation back there, but no, like it's not a limiting factor anymore.
This might sound like a silly question, but the size of the person that's on top of you, if they're in your guard, does that matter? Like if they're really like big and wide,
it changes the way you play.
Does that like hurt? Like for you, you're pretty mobile, but for Andrew, does that like?
Yeah, no, it matters for me.
If they weigh like 300 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if they're,
you know what I mean, and they're
big
between you like that, like I don't know, it just seems like that would fucking hurt.
Yeah, it does, and especially for me, I don't really know how to quite change the angles the way Nsima can. But like if somebody is heavier than me, most cases they kind of play a certain game where they're just gonna kind of smash until like I give up. I don't know how to quite move around them to make it hard on them, like I'm still learning like how to deal with a bigger opponent like that. But someone like Nsima can just throw them in X guard without them even knowing what the fuck's going on.
Might need to have like a Kit Kat in your pocket or something.
Yeah. So if somebody
like
just
hold it over here a little bit.
Yeah. So if I have somebody in my guard and they just stand up and they like apply pressure to like my hips or even my shoulders, and they just keep putting more and more pressure, it's like one of us has to give up before the other, and they're in a comfortable position. So I need to like figure out how to change the angles and get around that weird, like, we're just going to stand off until you fucking die.
Yeah. One thing on what you said, Andrew, that I think is super important is the habit that you had when you came in, when you started grappling. And for anybody who's new to jiu-jitsu, you've been doing it for a while, but you got to be mindful about the way you breathe. Because I noticed this with new people, and I noticed this with people who've been doing it for a while, but they haven't thought about it, is they will have times of holding their breath when they get in rough situations, whether somebody's on top of them or whether it's like just things get tough, they'll start to hold their breath, or when they'll push, they'll do that, they'll brace and then push. But when you do that, when these times where you're holding your breath, that's where your body becomes stiff. And if you move when your body's stiff, you jerk around when your body's stiff, that's when certain things can happen. Your movement isn't smooth. So you need to build the habit of being able to breathe the whole time, good situations or bad situations within grappling, especially through your nose. It makes a big difference. It's hard to do in the beginning, but if you do it more often, wear mouth tape at night so you're breathing through your nose when you're sleeping. So the 8 hours of which you're asleep, you're not mouth breathing. Build that habit. It makes a big difference. But the other thing I think you should try to do is in the gym. In the gym, when you would coming from a place where you focus on strength training, we have the idea of bracing. So we have the bar on our back, hold, squat down, come up so we don't move at all. But I think that you should try to use a load that you can comfortably actually breathe. Meaning if you're squatting, can you use a load that you can, doesn't mean that your spine is moving around, but you're going down, and if you needed to, you could take a breath and you could exhale and you could breathe while coming out.
You need to shoot a video on that. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that's the way I...
breathing at the bottom or breathing in different positions of a squat would be a really cool video.
Yeah, I do that a lot now. But the thing is like I can breathe while still maintaining the position of my spine. Just because I'm breathing doesn't mean my spine is now moving this way while I'm breathing. But if you have that habit with all of your movements in the gym where you're able to breathe through those movements and progress while breathing through those movements, when you're grappling and you're now working with the weight of somebody else, you're not going to have the habit of bracing when you should be breathing the whole time. So that I think needs to change. If you're someone who's grappling and lifting, you need to kind of treat your lifting kind of like grappling in terms of the way that you breathe.
That's so interesting because like I've literally hurt myself before by kind of breathing quote unquote wrong, like letting my air out at the wrong spot, but it was with extremely heavy weight. So if you take, if I was to take a 135 or 185 or something like that, and I use the slant board, which I saw you doing the other day, use a slant board, get down to a spot where I think I'm the lowest I can get, and then if I went, just breathe all that shit out, and just my hips would probably go down a little bit, lower back would round a little bit. And yes, it would feel... it would feel tight, but it's a great way to train. It's a great way to kind of train a position that my body otherwise wouldn't be able to get into unless I was able to relax in that spot.
Mm-hmm. So that's something to think about. You're right. I should make a video about that.
That'd be dope.
It's important. Mark, what does your training split for a typical week look like now? Curious, since you've started running as well.
I usually pick like one body part to work within a workout. And if it's a small body part, then sometimes I'll do 2 different body parts. So if it's shoulders, I might do like shoulders and arms. If it's chest, I'll just concentrate on just chest. If it's back, I'll just do just back pretty much. That's what I did today with our boy Kenny, and just got through a good back workout with him. I think because I'm not spending nearly as much time in the gym as I used to, that's the easiest thing for me to do is concentrate on like one thing. After this podcast, I'm hoping to kind of hop in there again and do a little bit of other stuff like mobility work and some other drills and stuff, because I've been using the couch stretch, and I've been trying to stretch my stomach out more and I've been trying to dig into my stomach more. But anyway, the split is pretty simple. I run pretty much every other day, unless I feel amazing. I might run 2 or 3 days in a row. I try not to do this too often. I try not to lift and run on the same day. Mm-hmm. That happens here and there. But yeah, I'm just really being cautious of like, it's more so about, I don't feel like I need to do anything. It's more like I feel like I need to pay attention to not overdoing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to run and I'm going to lift, and I'm going to do it every week, and I'm not going to miss a week. So I don't need to necessarily strategically like plan out a very specific split. Mm-hmm. I know that I'm going to train my legs. I'm going to train my arms. I'm going to train everything. So it's kind of like, I don't really have like a routine per se, but it's, run 3 to 4 days a week, lift 3 to 4 days a week.
And everybody in the audience that's a hybrid athlete doing whatever, that's something that you need to keep in mind, because whatever 2 things you're doing, there might be 1 week where you're running, it's just you're running way more. So you still want to go into the gym, but you can't do what you're usually doing because you're fatigued. Mm-hmm. Still do something. Okay. And there might be other weeks where your running volume's lower, so you can hit the gym harder. But you don't have to. Usually when you're only lifting, it's easy to just kind of have that go up consistently because it's your only expenditure, right? But when you're doing 2 things, you got to be mindful of that and know the weeks that you got to give away or take away, know the weeks where you can really push.
I'm just trying to work on like not feeling like fucked up,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like I don't have a lot of pain, and I don't feel super messed up. But when I lift and I run and I get into a rhythm of those things and I'm enjoying those things a lot, if you were to come over to my house at 7 o'clock at night and like ring my doorbell, it's going to be a few minutes before I get to the door, and I'm going to shuffle and walk with my toes pointed out and like not move very good getting up off my couch because I'm gonna be like the Tin Man.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about that really consciously more often because I'm like, that's part of the reason why my body's stiff, and I need to work on that. So I'm trying to feel better while I'm at home, so that when I'm at home, my resting position is different. I'm getting on the floor. I'm trying to stretch. I'm trying to do myofascial release. But if I'm training really hard and running and stuff like that, I don't want to do that stuff. You know, it's the last thing I want to do. It sounds silly, but getting on the ground, I'm like, that's going to suck. It's going to be hard to get up. I'm going to cramp up. Like it's this, I'll make a bunch of excuses and I won't do it. So I'm trying to get myself to a point where, you know, how do I get up out of that chair way easier? Well, just don't train like a lunatic. You know, just pull back on your training a little bit. And it's been awesome. I actually, sometimes I'll still move like my old self just because I think I have to. And then I'm like, oh, I don't need to do that. Like I can get up just fine. Like everything's good. So a lot of times I'm like nervous that I'm going to like cramp up or something like that, or it's going to be hard for me to do something. And then it's not. And I'm like, good. We're right where we need to be. Just don't mess it up.
There we go. Did you by any chance watch the Joe Rogan episode with Gary Brecka?
I did.
You did? Okay, good, because now you can help us with this question. It's from Adam LaFerrest. Any thoughts on the recent Gary Brecka JRE episode? Do you all utilize vitamin B complex, any specific brands? And then after that, we got a super chat. But yeah. So.
Yeah. There's something called Methyl Guard from Thorne, and I've been using it for a while. God damn. Dan Garner. Sorry, Dan. How can your name just disappeared out of my brain for half a second? Dan Garner is the one that turned me onto that a while back. And what was funny is I was listening to that show. I was like, I need to go check my B vitamins and see what, see what they are. And sure enough, Dan Garner's on top of shit, and they're methylated B vitamins that he recommended to me a long time ago. And he mentioned trimethylglycine or whatever.
I bought that after you mentioned it.
TMG. And that was in the fucking Methyl Guard from Thorne as well, I believe. So Dan Garner was kind of right on point with that. I guess overall, I liked the podcast with Rogan and Gary Brecka. I thought it was awesome. I thought there was a lot of great material in there. I think people still are we get like mesmerized by the B vitamins. And we can't forget that Dana White has been lifting weights for a long time. I even asked him about, like I said, like, you've been lifting the whole time, right? Like even when you were like fatter and even when you were your health was more compromised. He's like, oh yeah, I've always lifted. So you have to be careful when you see these transformations online. Dana White's not trying to lie to you. I don't think anyone's trying to lie to you. I don't think anyone's trying to pull a fast one on you. But the fact is Gary Brecka did get Dana White in a lot better shape. He did make a lot of progress. But Dana White is also a guy that has been lifting for many, many years. So Dana White had muscle sitting there the whole time. And so Dana White is an easier person to get into good shape because he's always been pretty stout. He's always had muscle on him. He's always been like a little tank, right? Even when he was had more body fat on him. And then Gary Brecka put him on a ketogenic style diet. Dana White lost a lot of weight. I think he lost like 40 pounds. And then they had these crazy outcomes with health, right? But we've had so many people on the podcast, and so many of them, it doesn't matter what diet they're talking about. It doesn't matter what camp they're in. They all have told us how much of an impact it has on your all-cause mortality when you lose 10% of your body fat, regardless of how you did it. So we always have to kind of like keep that in mind. You keep that in mind, and then hopefully you won't be bamboozled with a B vitamin or something that's said in a podcast about a particular peptide or something like that.
And then when it also comes to supplements, like for everyone in here, I would just suggest, mention this on the last live, but like when you get your blood work done, if you get your blood work done with Merrick, they usually, you can get the option that allows you to have it analyzed and get suggestions for supplements. But doing that will allow you to like use supplements for whatever you're deficient in. So there was something a little bit deficient with my thyroid. Oh, we bring that over here. Something a little bit deficient with my thyroid, something deficient with other shit. So I just got a bunch of supplements that help directly with those things. And that just got rid of the guesswork with which supplements I want to take. Because before that, I just took supplements that were good, but not supplements that I really needed to take. Right. So just think about that too when you're using all these subs.
Makes sense.
There's a super chat from Noah Dove, dealing with the freak out moment from not being able to escape being mounted. You guys rock. One thing that I would suggest, Noah, there's a channel from a guy named John Thomas. John Thomas is on YouTube, and I would suggest actually watching some of his videos because I've sent his videos to other people who have been asking questions about certain positions. He makes a lot of really good conceptual jiu-jitsu videos that are great for people like me and that have been doing it for a while and that are great for beginners. And I'm pretty sure he has a video on that specific thing. But I would suggest going through some of his videos because he explains the concepts behind certain things rather than just telling you to do certain movements, which is going to be helpful. And breathe. That's one thing I'm going to say. Breathe when someone has you in mount. Breathe when somebody has your back. The initial response for most people is to, spaz out, try to push, and then they tire themselves out and then they get choked out. Just keep breathing because you'll be able to think clearly. And when there is an opening for you to get out of when your opponent has you in that situation, you'll be able to find that opening. If you panic, you're going to die. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, John Thomas is really, really cool. I really like that dude's content. Follow him on Instagram. He has just really, really good stuff. Because I'm closer to that freak out period than Nsima maybe. I've gotten claustrophobic pretty recently too. Under people, even just in side control and stuff. Like I don't know what happened. It just kind of clicked one day, and I was like, dude, what the hell is going on here? So the guys that I train with, they were kind of saying like, hey, just like expose yourself to it a lot more. And get into that prayer position. So when you're mounted, it's funny because we're talking about jiu-jitsu, but if we weren't talking about that, it'd be different. But yeah, when you are mounted, like just getting in that prayer position and blocking your, I think maybe if you're in the gi, making sure your lapel's guarded, your collar, all that good stuff, so you can't get choked. And then just kind of sit there and almost do nothing because there's a good chance that they won't really be able to do anything. When they start to smother you, of course, then you can, breathe through it. But you'll see that coming, so then you can start defending that. But yeah, exposing yourself to those shitty positions to help you get more acclimated to those weird positions is a good prescription.
Do more specific training.
And
have people mount you.
Yeah. You might want to even ask your training partner if you can even just start there and just be like, hey, as soon as I tap, we're just going to start over and we're going to get right back in that same position. And yeah, dude, it's just, I know the feeling. It freaking sucks, having that freak out situation happen because it did happen to me pretty recently. But yeah, breathing and then just being exposed to it over and over and realizing that, the worst that can happen is that you're just going to tap and start over.
That's some Jordan Peterson type shit right there. He talks about getting exposure to things that you're scared of, and maybe you're having such a hard time with something. Maybe you have to watch somebody else do it, watch somebody else escape it, learn that somebody else is fine doing that, and then get more exposure to it over time. Jiu-jitsu is crazy, man. What you guys do is nuts. It doesn't make any sense. Like if you were to, if there wasn't like the invention of jiu-jitsu and it wasn't like so popular and the cat wasn't out of the bag, if somebody was to say, oh, I could kind of hold you in this position, there's nothing you can do about it. You would be like, hey, I bet you $100. I bet you $100 that Josh Settlage, can hold you, Mark. He can hold you down. You're not going to be able to move anything. Barely going to be able to move your eyebrows. It's like, it's an unbelievable thing that you could have that much control, but you can. It's wild.
Yeah, I remember trying to we must have been watching like Olympic wrestling or something, and like my dad's trying to explain like, oh, he has to get his shoulders to the mat in order to get points or to win or whatever, and I'm like, that's it? And he's like, if I were to lay down and just try to just not move, you couldn't move me. I was like, okay. Like I still didn't understand it, but I was like, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, you're right. Like you just nothing you can do, especially to someone like Josh.
I know, it sounds crazy.
Now this question we'll take, you guys good with 2-3 more questions? What do you want to do?
Sounds good.
Okay.
2 more.
2 more. Okay, so let's take this question first, since it's from one of the last ones from Rick McThick, because I like that name. If someone wanted to decrease their 3-mile run time only breathing through the nose, good on you. Would you guys do all the weekly sessions nasal breathing, or would y'all still do any mouth runs in the program? Mark?
I think you'd want to mix it up. Yeah, I think you'd want to mix it up. I think kind of what some of the stuff I've been learning from nasal breathing and just from running in general is like, or just from stuff in general, period. Just don't be so rigid with everything. Like if you're running harder and you need to breathe differently, then just breathe differently. But forced nasal breathing, if you over force it, you end up kind of breathing very similar to the way that you would normally breathe in your mouth and out your out or in the nose and out the mouth anyway. So I wouldn't really try to overly force it too much. Maybe, 1 long run a week. That's mainly nasal breathing. And then get another run where you're pushing the tempo and pushing your speed and trying for a little bit faster time. You never, well, I shouldn't use the word never. You rarely want your breathing to be erratic. You want to be able to have control over your breathing. So even if you're hauling ass and you're moving at a good speed, you should be able to, breathe in the nose, out the mouth pretty comfortably.
Cool. Okay. Jedi Red asks, can I have an 8 Sleep donated to me? Just wait on that. I need to contact 8 Sleep and see if they want to give out more mattresses. Maybe on the next Q&A, we can give out another 8 Sleep. Because that 8 Sleep we gave away, we paid for it, guys. So
Wait, what?
What the
When you say we, you mean like
I mean, it was
8
split
Sleep.
3. Yeah, no, like we paid for that. Remember?
Like
that?
I paid for some of that.
You paid for a third, I paid for a third, you paid for a third.
What?
Yeah. Guys,
Fuck this.
Andrew,
No, just
Mark,
kidding.
I think you guys are like the wrong people to ask about this, but this is the last question. Maybe we'll take one more, but maybe this is one of the last questions. And remember, guys, we're going to do the giveaway after this. Make sure you add me in Discord if you win, and just join the Discord. There's almost 3,000 people in there. Can TRT cause anxiety?
I've heard from a bunch of people that have taken testosterone before, saying that it made them more anxious. So I guess it can.
Wow.
Andrew, like when you freshly gone on that TR tie, do you have any anxiety?
No. I would say it helped alleviate a lot of any kind of like anxious thoughts or feelings or anything, but I could imagine.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
cool.
You get a dose of confidence twice a week.
Okay.
But I could imagine like maybe if I started taking it and I didn't see results or something, and I'm like, oh, I'm taking this stuff, like I need to work out harder or something, and it might put some anxiety on that. But no, I'm grateful that I've had just nothing but positive experience.
In the cases I'm thinking of, it was people that kind of felt like when they took the shot that it like did something to them immediately, which, you don't want to discredit how the person feels, but
It's their truth.
a shot of testosterone, it doesn't, I mean, you could check someone's heart rate before and after, and there could be fear over the needle. There could be some anxiety over the needle. But a shot of testosterone, it just doesn't work that way. It's not like a shot of caffeine or a shot of whiskey. Like it doesn't work that way at all. So, I think they were just nervous. I think they were just nervous about they've heard a lot about testosterone and they've heard probably a lot of negative things. And so they thought they were kind of doing something bad. And then they just but I've heard it from a few people though. I've heard it from enough people to, where, someone asks a question like that, I just got to kind of answer it honestly.
Okay. All right. Now, okay. I think there's two more really good questions, and these are quick ones. I think
They're both really good.
they're pretty good. This is pretty good. This is from the guy 5 a.m. It's not his actual name. I think I've seen him in the Discord, but on YouTube he goes by 5 a.m. If you could go back to being 24, what approach would you take to health, longevity, etc.? So, Mark, think about yourself when you were 24 years old.
That's a great time period for me
Yeah.
because I'm still natty.
It's the 70s.
It's the 70s. I had a crazy mustache and a perm. I was fucking dancing the night away, disco.
Big old bush.
Big old bush.
Well, you have that photo where you remember you saw Mark's dick in that shoot?
See if you can
I try to forget.
see if you can pull my dick out, Andrew.
Gotta pull that photo up, dog. That shit was good.
Have it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Andrew's like, pew, and he just like has it just there.
That was such a great photo.
What was the what did
Burt
we
Reynolds?
Burt
Burt
Reynolds.
Reynolds.
Let's look that up.
Yeah.
What would you change?
You know, at 24, I was doing like a low carb thingy, and I was mainly eating like meat and vegetables. So I think I was on a good path. I was on a good track. I can't really think of anything I would have done differently. I guess it would have been nice to maybe have. Oh, I guess this would be important. Would be to try to keep some athleticism, because I think at that age I could still like do certain things that are kind of harder for me to do now. Hey now.
Yo, this photo, dog.
Just letting it all hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way to zoom in on that bitch? It's also weird because like you don't have your hand like in between your shit like Bert does. You have it like on top of your junk. So it almost looks like your hand is your dick, but then you're like, oh wait, no, that's his hand.
Oh wow.
Bert straight up just put that shit between his knees. Yo.
One of the hardest parts was just like fucking getting into position for that shot. The ground is like hurt.
So Andrew, you saw that thing, huh? How was that?
Dude, like I said, afterwards, I'm like, I have full confidence in this podcast. You know, our host is, yeah, we got a strong leader.
Andrew tried to edit in more stuff than's really there, but he couldn't quite do it.
You know,
Yo,
Photoshop.
if I went back to 24, I think shit, that wasn't even that long ago. That was what, 7 years?
7.
The fuck was going on 7 years ago? Damn. I think I'd just probably because I'm someone who likes staying up late. I'd probably just get more sleep. Because at that time, like I was I think I just started jujitsu. Damn. I don't know if I'd change anything.
Wow.
I don't know if I'd change anything. Like, because like it's not like my habits were perfect. I'd definitely be microdosing more because I know I didn't walk. I didn't like to walk, and I love walking now. So I'd definitely be walking more. That makes a big difference, especially if you're lifting, jujitsu, or whatever. Walking helps with recovery.
At 24 now.
Yeah, so I'd be fucking walking every day. Get your steps in. That's helps you feel better too. Like you don't realize it. Like if you take some walks, you will feel better. And when you're not taking as many walks, you've mentioned this. Like you kind of just need a daily amount of movement, and you can tell.
I think 7 miles. I think everyone's got a 7 mile minimum
Every day.
Not 7 miles necessarily of like walking per se, but I think that everyone has the equivalent of whatever 7 miles would equal out in terms of like caloric expenditure. So you got to get it out of your system somehow. I mean, they say that with your dog, right? Like, you know, you let your dog just coop up in the house and then starts acting like a little crazy person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's like anything I would keep when I was 24. There was nothing good going on. I guess I could say the only thing was like I was DJing back then, but like not for anybody, just for my own like enjoyment. Kind of like
You
what
were
I'm doing
DJing?
right now. Yeah, I'm doing it right now. Like I have like a setup at home now.
I saw that stuff. I thought you were like doing that mainly with you're doing that with your son, right? Or just you?
No, like my own shit. Like
good shit.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a hobby.
It's so much fun, and like I can just pick it up and like just start and not sound terrible. I'm not like great, but it's just so much fun to mix music, and that's the one thing I would have kept in because I quickly stopped at that time. But other than that, there wasn't shit I was doing that was positive back then. I was drinking. I think I might have even been single at 24. So that was a lot of fun.
That might be a good thing.
That was a lot of fun. Maybe I would have stayed single. But no, yeah, I wasn't working out. I wasn't really driven by anything other than just, the
Were you still
pleasure stuff.
Were you still porning at 24?
Shit.
It sounds like if he was in porn.
I think it was like 23. Yeah, I think I was still a little bit. I think I was still a little bit. Because it was tough to like fully stop. So yeah, just a little bit, I think. Way less than like way early 20s. So yeah.
How about video games? You guys play video games anymore?
A little bit. I don't. So like the thing I've changed with like video games is when I was in my teenage years, I played like MMORPGs, multiplayer, massive. Like it's like things where you play with a bunch of other people. You got friends, you got a whole universe and shit.
Play with friends online kind of thing?
Yeah, that shit took time.
You had guilds and shit.
Yeah. I played those type of games. Like one of my things was like MapleStory. I played Counter-Strike Source. Played a bunch of shit.
You played Source?
I played Source. I played Source for
Savage.
years. For years.
So did I.
Yeah. I don't play multiplayer games anymore. I only play single player games these days. So like that Spider-Man game that came out, played that. But the thing is, the single player games, you can just play it, put it down. There's no one who's like, come play with us. There's no urge. Like you put it down, you stop, right? So yeah, that's kind of how I handle gaming these days. I still like it, but not that multiplayer shit.
I really, really miss playing video games. I actually just had this conversation with a buddy of mine who still plays every day. And I'm like, dude, like if you're happy with where you are in life and you can't use this time better elsewhere, then cool. But you complain to me every day how you hate your job, so maybe you should put down the controller. But
yeah, it's okay for some and not for others, right?
That's
some people got to be kind of
but
careful with it, right?
Yeah, and for me, the last straw was my son got a hold of the controller and he started like, I forgot what game it was, but he was like controlling the guy jumping around and shit, and it was like, oh, this is funny, yay! And then I'm like, all right, we got to turn it off, and he like freaked out really bad, and I'm like, like this is not good. So my Xbox is just collecting dust for over a year now. I haven't touched it. Yeah. So
fucking Wyatt, big baby looking ass. He's trying to remember what age he said the first time, trying to keep his timeline right. I hate this fucker.
What do you
when
mean?
Mark asked me about porn.
Oh, man, it's hard to remember shit sometimes, all right?
Wyatt, go fucking drink some milk. Jesus Christ. God.
He came out spicy today. What happened?
Wyatt always comes out spicy. He be talking too much shit.
Well, he kind of looks like a baby because he is a baby. He's a young guy.
Dude, you know what's crazy is like his. I'm making Nsima.
Damn, Mark.
I was trying to go
Well,
right
you're
over
talking about
it.
how young he looks.
Yeah. No,
Wyatt's
like a
gonna
giant
look
baby.
like he's gonna look 20 when he's 50. That's why it's good that he looks like
Yeah.
he's 2 right now. You know.
no, dude, it fucking. It tripped me out.
We love you, Wyatt.
It tripped me out pretty bad. We were having a really cool long conversation. He was talking about how his dad had him young and like, oh, that's cool. Because like I don't know, I could be crazy, but like because we're all under the same roof, I just like we're all peers, like we're all like kind of same age-ish.
Yeah.
And he told me his dad's age, and like
old's his dad?
we're about the same age. And I'm like, whoa, like
I
that's
could be your
fucking
daddy.
wild. No, I didn't say that. Actually, what I did say was like, oh, now I feel kind of weird that I didn't have a kid till I was 38 because like my son could be your age and we could be hanging out. Like that would have been really cool too. Who knows how much of a mess it would have been growing up. But like I was like, holy shit, dude. Like that fucking blew my mind.
Dog, I think I'm gonna be an old ass dad. Because I was thinking
am.
about this, but I like, when did you have Aurelius?
It's 36, 30. I don't know, dude. He's gonna be 3 and I'm 38.
Because I was thinking about this when I was younger, right? When you
Lots of math.
Yeah.
when
It's
you
a
were
tricky
young,
one, huh?
what age did you think you were gonna have a kid?
Never.
Never?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Like I was always like, oh yeah, by the time I'm like 28, 29, 30, I'm gonna have my first kid. Now I'm just like, there's so many things that I'm focusing on right now, like in terms of training and shit, where I'm like, if I had a kid, I don't know if I'd be able to focus on all this shit because my girl also has her things she's focusing on. It might be like a good 7-8 years before I have a kid. And I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But it's just like, damn,
Yeah.
I'm going to be having some old cum. Seriously. Like,
have to say it like that.
I don't know. It's going to be different, but all
Yeah,
right.
you gotta watch Idiocracy at least for the intro. of that
I
movie.
still haven't seen it. Both you and Mark have mentioned that multiple times.
It's
Still haven't seen it.
it's whatever. We already overhyped it, so you're not gonna.
We
enjoy
kind of
it.
ruined it
Yeah.
for you, but
At least the beginning, you'll understand.
All right.
maybe smoke a little weed and watch it.
Okay. I'll
bad.
do that.
Not bad, not
We're
bad.
picking the first winner. This person will win a year's supply of hostage tape. Make sure to message us on Discord.
And the winner is, drum roll, please.
Who's the winner? Oh. You were the super chatter. Jesse Fonseca the fourth.
Nice.
Jesse Fonseca
gonna
the
be-
fourth.
Super chatters all the way.
No, it's not.
He just
it
wrote
just
down
happens that
all
the
this-
first person that, we picked gave us money.
It is. So if you want to win a prize,
Let me mix this shit up a little bit more.
You got to play the game.
yeah. And I like that if they want to collect their prize, they have to befriend you.
You have to be my friend.
That's kind of great.
Oh my god.
We have to be buddies.
Yeah.
I hope this isn't someone who did a super chat. Okay, no. Rock Humper. Rock Humper. Join the Discord. You will win a gift card to Within You.
Humper.
Remember, both
Okay.
of you, make sure to send me your address and your email address, okay? So that I don't have to ask you for anything else. But add me on Discord, send me your address and email address. Okay, third winner.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Controversy.
Stuck together there.
Devin Stapleton. Not another super chatter. So you guys know we ain't saying this up. So Devin Stapleton,
It's a sick last name.
you will win a gift card to Viore Clothing. $150.
Damn,
Get
son.
yourself some good stuff. And this last person will win something from Vivo.
Kaboom.
Our last winner that won something from Vivo, give me some time because I'm in contact with them right now. I need to get your gift card from our last Q&A. Everybody else from the last Q&A got their shit. But Brian Dupree. Yeah, I don't think he was a super chatter though. But Brian, you also are going to win a pair of kicks from Vivo. Got to give me a few days on that though because it's going to take a little bit of time. Vivo. Okay. And that's it.
Not
for
bad.
today's Q&A.
Not bad
Lots of
at
great
all.
questions, guys. Lots of great questions. You guys want to do one more giveaway, or is that good? It's 4 good.
What do you think, Andrew?
I don't know. What else do we have to give away? I think
We'll give away something from Within You.
I'm down.
All
There
right.
you go.
All right. Let's
Do
mix
another.
that bitch up. So Noah Dove wanted us to do one more. Let's do one more because Noah might win. Let's see.
Let's see.
Kaboom.
2 guns.
Nice.
That's 2 guns gave us money, and now you win something from Within You. All right, so 2 guns, you're gonna win. I believe it's $75 gift card to Within You. Get yourself some protein.
What'd you eat last night, Andrew?
Let's see here. What did I eat? We plain Janed it, if that's a thing. Just rotisserie chicken from Costco.
Oh,
and
I like
some rice, and that was it.
It was like $5, right?
Yeah, they're insanely
great.
cheap. Yeah, that was it. It was quick.
Did you go to Jitsi this morning?
No, nope. Still taking the rest of this week off,
Nice.
and it's pretty interesting having energy later on in the day.
Did you have 12 eggs this morning?
I had 8.
Oh.
Yeah.
And when you go to jiu-jitsu, you don't normally eat. You eat maybe when you get home from jiu-jitsu?
Correct. So wake up, hit open mat at 5:30, and then do class at 6:30. Come home around 8, and then get showered up for the day, and then that's when I eat actually like actual food. Yeah.
What about for you?
Dinner last night? Like, what
I had
was-
makuni.
the fuck
I had
did
some
eat last night?
sushi
Sushi.
after a run.
Went to the sauna. Oh, before I went to the sauna, I had steak. I had something with my steak. Oh, it was shrimp. I had from Trader Joe's. They have these they're these little shrimp ball things. So I had a pack of that and some steak.
I love
That was
shrimp.
pretty much that. Went
And
to
then
the
are you
sauna, came back.
fasting in the morning usually, or what you doing?
No, this
lately?
morning I was way 2:48, so I'm like, we got to eat. So I had 8 eggs and 2 of the Piedmontese sausage. So usually in the mornings now, I'm having either just a protein shake or actual food depending on the morning because I'm taking those supplements. And whenever I take those on an empty stomach,
Yeah.
boy, that
Yep.
shit hurts.
Ah.
So
Makes you feel sick.
It makes me feel sick. So I gotta at least have a protein shake with those supplements in the morning. But I've been eating more in the morning now because I am dropping weight fast. or I can drop weight fast. So I'm trying to get in those calories. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, you train hard and you're doing jujitsu and everything else. So, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, you get in more food.
I had a couple eggs before I came here. I had my normal shake that I have because I was training with Kenny. And whenever I train with Kenny, I try to like load up on some fuel because
he'll kill you.
He can kick my ass. Strength is never weakness. Weakness never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, which I know you did because you got this far, then click this one right here because you'll enjoy this one just as much. And if you're choosing to still listen to me currently, as I'm telling you to go over here and watch this video, well, hey, that just means you like the sound of my voice. And, well, I'll just keep seducing you right here.